Hey everyone, you're listening to 4Player Podcast, a weekly live show about video games. We hope you'll stick around for another year of gaming discussion, Fantasy Critic hijinks, and of course, general shenanigans here at 4Player. Before we start this episode, we want to send a thank you out to everyone who listens and give a quick welcome to any newbies. I'll try to keep this short because this is, and always will be, an ad-free show. We've been at this since 2008, so if you like what we do, please subscribe and leave a review on your preferred podcast service. Join us in our Discord at discord.gg/4player, or, if you're so inclined, throw us a couple bucks a month on Patreon. We record these episodes live every Tuesday night on twitch.tv/4playerpodcast, all spelled out, and episodes hit podcast services on Friday morning. You can find all the links you need at 4playernetwork.com. But enough about that, let's get started. Okay, let's everybody quiet for a second. Hey everybody, welcome to 4Player Podcast, episode 829. It's been like 2.5 weeks since we recorded. It's March 28th, 2025. It's a Friday. It's a weird day to be recording a podcast, but here we are. We're back. We're back in the recording studio, ready to talk about video games as we usually do. I do apologize for the delay getting a new episode out there, but we're here, and I'm joined by Brad. Hey, Brad, what's up?
Is that a boozy haitus you got over there?
It's a cantaritos, yes, sir.
Oh, that looks like your third one, man. You doing all right over there?
Yeah.
It's
in deep
been a
tonight.
week.
Okay.
That's
right,
Chris.
all right.
That's Chris Davis. You hear downing. Is that an alcoholic beverage? I don't even know. Or is that?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's gone over this. It's
Oh,
the
so I
boozy haitus.
I don't. Okay, I must have missed that. Crispy's joining us. Hello, Crispy,
Hello, Nick.
with his fucking AI backgrounds driving me crazy. All I can see is myself when I look at Crispy's glorious face.
It's looking right into your soul.
This is a radiant photo of me.
Don't you? This Nightshader's Photoshop abilities are
It's not-
unmatched. Okay,
That
I
is
don't.
not Photoshop. That
I
is.
know, but like, I don't want you to like suggest that he hasn't like put in the work. Okay.
Well, I know he's put in the work. He's armed Crispy to the teeth with all kinds of backgrounds that he uses every week for the podcast.
I
So
don't even think he knows I do it because I don't think he watches or listens to the podcast.
No, all he does is watch Carlos sleep.
Yeah.
Basically.
that's a thing you can do. Anyways, guys, welcome back to the show again. I apologize for the delay. It's been a couple weeks. We were going to record last night, but Brad was struck by lightning, and we didn't get to do that. So now we find ourselves on a Friday night, recording this episode going into the weekend. So
Did you save everything?
how's
in your
everybody
fridge?
doing? I'm gonna
Huh?
guess not. Your fridge.
Well, I don't know. It is like a somewhat new fridge, and you know,
Did you just leave it shut
I
all
woke
night?
up in the morning, and like the shit was real cold, and it's not like it came on. Like it was. I woke up like when the power came on, but it came on like right before I was supposed to wake up. But it was out from like 7:30 to like 5, maybe 5:30.
Did you just leave everything in the fridge like closed? Like you didn't open it once?
Yeah,
after
we
that?
weren't opening it. It stayed closed, but
Yeah.
like the shit was real cold when I opened it. So I don't know. I
Okay.
think it's
I
fine.
mean,
I
would
drink
say-
a drinkable yogurt and chugged a bottle of water, and it was pretty.
I was
fucking
about to
cold.
say, I was like, maybe just don't fuck with the dairy. Like if
No,
there's
no,
dairy,
but what I'm
water
saying
was
is
probably
just- no,
okay.
no. But I want to be clear here. I woke up when the power came back on, so it's not like the power came back on and the stuff got cold again. I opened the
know.
fridge for the first time when the power
Yeah.
came on, and this shit was real fucking cold. So
Okay,
sure, it's
okay.
fine.
I'm just saying, like a
Usually-
human's guesstimation of like what is really cold is not necessarily what like recommended
As
temperature.
human
Well-
beings, we have noses that tell us when
Yeah.
you should
If
probably
you're
not
about
consume
to
something.
drink yogurt and it's not good, like
Hey,
some
I
yogurt
told-
that is good isn't like
I accidentally had an experience in the it's probably like 6 months ago where I accidentally put spoiled milk in my cereal and I didn't realize it because I guess I
Oh.
couldn't smell anything at that point. Like I was just getting over a head cold or something. So I put it in my
How
mouth.
spoiled
and
was it?
it was the most traumatizing thing I've ever.
was it like
tasted.
curdled?
Yeah, it was bad. Like
Then
It was
how
bad.
did your eyes not like?
How
I
much-
was probably. I think I was talking to my wife, and I wasn't like looking at what I was pouring into the thing. It was. It was
It
How
was
many
worse
days
than
had
that
it been since
turtle
the expiration
jizz you ate.
way worse. Way worse than that, Brad. Thank you for keeping it family friendly as always.
Yeah.
Hey, let's. What's been going on? It's been 2 weeks. What are we talking about tonight? Other than curdled jizz.
Mm.
More
Not gonna
fucking
ban
Monster
me.
Hunter.
Curdles. I don't think there's
I
much
mean-
dairy content.
I mean, it may
Yeah.
not curdle, quote, like in the technical sense, but like, it's definitely one of those things where there's probably a very limited window where you never mind. This is
Limited window where it's still good to consume, Nick. Is this what you're
there
telling
is
me?
a
You've
there is
had
a,
you've had you've had jizz that was off before. I mean, it didn't stop you. You're not gonna let it go to waste, but
You
I
needed that protein.
what this is this something
a little off.
something a little off here.
Yesterday's was far more fresh.
God damn it.
But the day
I-
before,
The
This is
viscosity
so-
is weird.
This. Fuck. Okay.
I mean, I get it. Different dudes, different loads, but this one especially.
It's an agricultural product, so there's some variety to be expected.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
At
Okay.
the farmer's market the weekend before, that's what they call it, the
Yeah.
farmer's market. He tasted so many different fresh flavors.
So many farmers.
What are we
Never
talking
gets an
about?
attempt.
I don't know.
I saw an opportunity where it was like a fork in the road where it was like I can go to the left, I can go to the right and keep everything like family friendly, or I can take the opportunity and go for like the really
Mm.
off-putting joke, and we know which road I went down. Let's see. We have a Nintendo. It's been 2 weeks, guys. So we had a Nintendo
Speaking of
Direct
tummies,
yesterday.
you've been playing Assassin's Creed.
I have. Of course. It's
go ahead.
what's crazy to think about is that I guess Mirage came out, and I guess I talked a little bit about Mirage when it came out, I suppose. But I feel like I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since Valhalla, which came out in 2020, I think it was.
They broke the cycle. You finally
They did.
started releasing video games with a normal gap.
Are we
between
talking
them.
about Shadows now? Are we just going into it?
Well, what
Yeah,
other
He
we
started,
are.
bullshit
he
you
started
wanted to
pulling
started it.
footage.
The footage is
Oh
playing.
my
Go.
god.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're here.
I guess we're doing it. This off the cuff here, guys. Okay. Oh my god, I wasn't ready. Yeah, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, which by the way, I've been playing so much Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and
Yeah.
I was sick the past couple days, so I'm still
Nice.
pretty early. in this game.
Do you think that's going to have like a potential negative impact on your opinion of this game?
You mean my love for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 going into
Yeah,
this?
because I mean, it's one of those games that's been kind of doing that to surrounding RPGs, you know?
Well, maybe, but I mean, like we're talking about two very different styles of game.
But that didn't stop
obviously.
people from ripping into Avowed for some fucking reason.
Sure, but I think on kind of the discourse around this game so far, as far as I've seen, which take that with a grain of salt, I suppose, is that most people seem to be kind of pleasantly surprised by this, and I'm talking about like people who have maybe long since written off Assassin's Creed, and I'm not saying that's entirely.
It's more that people's
warranted.
opinion of Ubisoft these days is so fucking in the toilet that when they release something even remotely decent, they're like, "Oh, I guess they're not the devil."
Sure, and I've never necessarily subscribed to that. I think they still put out good stuff. I mean, like Mario and Rabbids was a really cool, surprising, pleasant thing. I still think
Prince of Persia last year was sick.
Prince of Persia was sick. I also think that like the last Far Cry 6 was like probably the best Far Cry like of that style Far Cry game they've ever put out.
Games that we all like, but nobody likes the idea of like praising Ubisoft because fuck them. Like
they're bad
because they're kind of
Especially
they're bad
after this week.
You know, they're bad. But like I will say this: I've probably put about 6-7 hours into this at this point, and I will get this out of the way. Like, there's still like the thing.
As a black guy.
No, okay.
I know.
It wasn't. I have not.
Nick, he was a real guy.
Shut up.
We don't have to
Damn
get
it.
into that obviously because it's
You're killing
obviously
me.
stupid chud bullshit. But I will say, newsworthy, like
Mhm.
they're beating them in Steam reviews. That's impressive. I did not expect this game to come out on top on Steam reviews of all things, which
Wait,
is
wait,
impressive.
wait. Say that again. What's happening?
I'm saying
With
like I thought this game would have no chance for like good Steam reviews just because of
Oh.
how things have been the past couple of years, but it actually I think is currently at very positive, which
Yeah, it is.
again for this game specifically I thought would have been like an impossibility.
I also, for the
So,
record,
it's
decided to
impressive.
play this. I decided to play this on PC instead of PS5, so I'm playing it on Steam myself. So what I was going to say is that like the things that are like identifiable to Assassin's Creed, like there's obviously certain things everybody associates with the series, and like I'm talking not just talking about like trademark things like the fucking climbing to the viewpoints and getting the vistas and stuff, but like also like kind of the AI is a little wonky, right? And they play really fast and loose with like stealth mechanics and stuff where you're like, I should totally be visible right now, but this dude's looking right at me and he can't see me, like shit like that, which I think is pretty par for the course with honestly most stealth games. I feel like really really good stealth games out there are the ones that like kind of subvert those expectations. So this is definitely has kind of all the same like minor issues that most of the games in the series have had, but they've made a lot of like really cool improvements. Like I would say like fluidly, like you want to talk about just like fluid gameplay and kind of like seamlessness between styles of gameplay, between doing one type of activity and then switching gears and doing another. Like it's way smoother in this game than I feel like it's ever been. And I am saying that as someone who I can't honestly remember much about my time with Valhalla, even though I spent 80 hours in that game. But that was like 5 years
Literally
ago.
no one remembers it
Yeah.
because no one enjoyed their 80 hours.
That's actually not true. Like Valhalla was in and of itself like for people who were fans of Assassin's Creed, people enjoyed that game. It's and
Yeah, that's not
I
what I meant.
too.
I meant no one's ever finished that game.
Right. It is
Literally,
that game
there's still
is
zero completions.
that game is too big for like I honestly I think the problem with Valhalla is that it's too big and the hype for like the setting and the time period was not nearly hype enough to like justify the amount of content in the game.
It was
That was
easily
y'all's
the
fault.
here-
most bloated.
I
game
was
in
over the
franchise.
Viking shit way before y'all were.
I know,
way
you were-
before it was cool to be over it.
You're a fucking hipster when it comes to Viking or being over
When it comes
Vikings
to
and shit.
being over stuff.
But like feudal Japan obviously is a backdrop they have been like people have been dying for in the series for ages, and now they finally do it after Ghost of Tsushima is a thing, right? So like,
Well, like 10 years after they were done
Yes.
asking for it.
Yeah.
It's so far beyond cool now. Like it was cool 10 years ago. It is
Yeah.
like
well, I mean, here's the
fine
thing.
now.
We're talking about okay. I mean, this is gonna sound incendiary a little bit, I guess. I'm not trying to be, but like we're talking about quote unquote like gamer culture here. Feudal Japan never goes out of style, right?
Nick's got a fucking point there.
Like there will never be a shortage of gamers who
Ninjas
want to play a
are
game set in
the-
feudal Japan.
They're the
Yes.
little black dress of the of the the gaming culture. There's
Mm,
always
yeah.
a place.
Yeah,
Um,
true that.
so with that in mind, it fucking works. Like they have like this game feels really nice. The character movement feels really good. I mean, it's still got kind of like that sticky element to it because that's how they're like that's kind of their free climbing and parkour system works, right? You kind
Yeah.
of stick to things.
Their
So, and
stinky
that-
signature, yeah.
and that thing, but like but it still works. And when it's coupled with like really nice smooth animations and like you don't get like stuck, like you never feel like you're hitting a wall, like when you're like moving through an environment or climbing up things or down things, especially getting down off of roofs in this game feels really fucking nice because she's a fucking shinobi. So like you're going to like walk off a roof and she does this like really cool like flip and like lands like really quietly on her feet, and then you're immediately like crouched and you're moving quickly. So like it feels really snappy, it feels really nice, and you can go prone. And I don't think you've ever been able to go prone ever in an Assassin's Creed game.
I don't
I
think
could
so.
be wrong about that, but I think this is the first time. So like
I can't remember.
all of that feels really really nice. And they've coupled it with with like more, I think, fine-tuned like stealth mechanics and stuff, and like being able to like not, like choking out enemies in this game feels almost as cool as like killing people. Like the way you sneak up behind enemies and
But
and like
nothing feels as good as killing to you, right?
Nothing
Josh?
matches.
You sick fuck.
Blood.
You little blood
you know
slides.
what I mean, though. You know what I mean. I'm talking about just pure game feel, but
Yeah,
Just feeling the
like,
life.
Game.
just knowing that their
maker.
family will never see them again is the.
fine.
You live for that shit.
But like one thing I will remind you here, like this is what they are claiming to be like the last of the
Yeah,
like
I think you're right.
RPGs of the RPGs series
Until
like,
this
'cause
one
there's-
sells like fucking 20 million copies or whatever the fuck these sell these days, right? Like, wasn't Valhalla like their best-selling Assassin's Creed game?
all we know at this point is that they had this and Hex, which is like
Now that one sounds kind of neat.
that one sounds pretty awesome, and it's supposed to be totally different. It's not an RPG kind of thing, so I'm very excited to see what that's like. But this is like the last of the Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla type games, and all of those things which I typically have had issues with in the past, or I guess I've had diminishing returns on is the better way to put it, because I loved Origins, I really liked Odyssey, and I was just kind of starting to get tired of it in Valhalla. Like they've kind of smoothed out some of those edges here, and like I think a lot of it has to do with the loot system and the inventory system, and like the fashion stuff you can do in this game is just really fucking cool. And I think all that comes together really nicely. But like I haven't really had enough time to like really dig into like the RPG systems and stuff, and like the they have all the different skill trees and stuff, so you can like focus on different things with your skill points. But like, and I haven't researched this, but like one of the things I thought was really interesting is like when you pick up, like if you knock somebody out or kill somebody, you can like pick up their body, right? Like you would in a stealth game and try and hide the body.
Yeah.
But when at least when you start out, or maybe it's I don't know, maybe it's because I'm playing as Naue right now, but like she moves super slow when she's like carrying a body like over her shoulders. So like you have to like every time I do it, I'm like fuck, like someone's gonna see me, and it's a really neat thing. And I'm wondering
Like
if like
Fumito Uedo over here.
I'm
A
like
girl
wondering if you
couldn't
can.
hang on to the Colossus like a boy could.
Okay, well I'm just like really walking into these walls. I apologize. But she is small, okay, and like dead weight is dead weight, right? I'm wondering if you can put like points to like make like you can focus like building your strength to make so you can like move faster while you're carrying bodies. I'm not sure if you could do that. But there's so many different skill trees and stuff that you can put points into. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
How
to
are
see
the
that
characters
in there?
I feel like with
far-
like Origins and Odyssey, they had like really good characters, and I don't know about Valhalla because the only thing anyone's ever said out loud about it is that it's too long. But does this game have like good side quests? Like there was a time where these games were kind of becoming like Witcher-esque with like quality side quests and good characters. Does that stuff kind of hold up?
That's the kind of thing I don't know if I'm far enough to really truly gauge yet. What I will say is
That's
this,
fair.
because they've kind of continued to build upon this thing that they introduced in Odyssey, which was like I talked about this a lot when I played that, the cult thing where you're like hunting down all these cult members all over the world. But now it is kind of like they've moved that into the forefront, and now that is like the main story mission. So you're trying to track down this group that was responsible for killing your father, kind of thing. So it's like this circle of things, and there are all these people scattered all over the world, and your main quest is to like just go out there and research and try and figure out where you can find all these people and take them out one by one. And I'm on the first one right now, and I'm almost to the end of it, like doing the first main assassination. But like the stuff you have to go through to like figure out how to track down these targets and figure out how to gain access to them. I'm not gonna I know it seems blasphemous to like
We know.
say to call like to bring up Hitman when talking
I
about
know.
this.
In another timeline, Assassin's Creed just would have been Hitman games and all these cool settings, but that's just not what they do.
But what I'm trying to say is, and it like there's like the first thing I did to like track down this thing ended up being this like thing where I'm running all over this place trying to get these things so I can like arrange to have this like special tea ceremony with this guy, and he's going to connect me with this other person that's going to eventually trickle down to where I can get private time with this with the target.
It's all scripted though, right?
I mean, it's scripted, but in the midst of those scripted things, they're introducing little things that make me feel like it's having branching pathways and stuff. Like you eventually end up in this scenario where you're like in this tea ceremony and there's other guests there, and you know that the person that you're looking for is one of these three people, but you don't know who it is because when you first saw them at the beginning of the game, they're all wearing masks. So like you're trying to figure out which one of them that is, and you have to like talk to them and pick up on clues, and then it gets you to a point where you have to kind of like make a decision, and you have to say, I think it's this person.
It's Dishonored's Lady Boyle.
I mean, yeah, like just more Dishonored. I mean, it sounds
Maybe,
neat,
yeah.
right? But like you're never truly gonna make a cool assassination game until you start with systems, which is what Hitman does, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I again,
I mean, some people
early...
don't like that. Obviously, you're kind of one
Sure.
of them, right? So.
I mean, I like Dishonored way more than I like Hitman, but
no,
like
no, no.
I do recognize
this is more Dishonored. What you're describing sounds more Dishonored than Hitman.
Right.
Hitman is like systems first. We're gonna build a setting around that,
Right, and I'm not saying it's as that. You're right. It's probably closer to Dishonored, which I think is a compliment. I think it's great, but it also just feels more like what Assassin's Creed probably has always aspired to be than it has been. And
the first one was probably the most like
probably.
that, right?
They've tried so many different like things with this series as far as like trying to like frame like the central narrative and like the targets and how you get to your target, whatever. And I've actually heard a lot of people say like Assassin's Creed Unity is maybe one of the best for that kind of thing. So like it's cool to see them experimenting here. Yeah, that's the one.
French
Yeah.
Revolution.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy, and it was broken at launch, so I didn't actually. That's like the one that I haven't played, but I actually picked it up on a sale recently because a friend of mine was telling me that he fucking loves that game and it's his favorite in the series, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I might go back and try that someday.
Like
I've always wanted to.
If you're looking for a good gameplay experience, like it's an improvement on AC3, but like at the same time, like that story is a fucking insult.
I don't.
It is.
I mean, that's
ferociously bad.
I don't know.
No, I'm not even talking about like the future stuff. It's literally the game just basically says "fuck you" at the end. It rolls credits.
Okay, I mean, I think the real problem with this series is that they started to care too much about the story and less about.
But the story's always been a thing. Like,
yeah, and
it's not
the stories.
It's not like Hitman, where like the story in Hitman is just like
useless. Nothing.
It's like go kill Penn and Teller. Like what? Like okay,
yeah.
I mean, that
go kill the Pope.
Killing Penn and Teller at a magic show.
I mean, that's
a magic
cool
show.
As fuck, but like,
think about how many
why you're doing it? Like
that would be so cool.
But like the one thing that
sitting in the crowd.
Oh, you get to come up on stage.
Oh man!
But look, they have been getting. They say what you will. They've obviously pivoted about with the whole like how they're handling or downplaying like the future aspect of it, which I've always been disappointed by. But since they started doing that, I will acknowledge that the storylines in the actual timelines that they take place in have been getting better and better. With maybe I can't speak to Valhalla because it was just overwhelming. But like Origins, Odyssey, fantastic.
But wasn't it like AC2 peak? Didn't they peak it too?
Well, I think
like Brotherhood and
the Ezio trilogy, fantastic. But like
come on.
Yeah.
That guy came from the series. Like
I forgot the fucking one of the craziest things about this game that I didn't even know existed.
Soul Calibur.
I forgot to mention this.
Yeah.
Because again, this is one of those things where I haven't spent nearly enough time with it yet, so I'll talk more about it on a future show probably. But like, I didn't realize there's a whole like base building aspect of this. Like, you have a kind of like a home base thing, and as you're going around the world, you're collecting things that you take back to your base, and you're like building structures and getting people to come back to your base, and it's getting bigger and more populated, and the people that come back to your base do things for you.
Did that
Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 does
that.
They're
doing like
an evolution of that.
The homestead.
But they've been getting kind of farther and farther away from those things, especially since it starting this like kind of like RPG series of games. And Brotherhood had something like that. 2 had something like that.
Didn't Valhalla
3
have a
with
whole
the
focus
homestead.
on that?
Uh, this is one of those things. Like they tried these like side kind of systems and stuff that are largely experimental with each game, and some of them are hit, some of them are misses. I don't know, but this one, I don't know. It seems more well thought out so far, and a lot of potential. And like you can send scouts out, which I think was a Brotherhood thing, right? You could send
Yes.
Yeah.
like as you're recruiting people, you get them out, and you can actually tell them to scout areas to like find things for you that you can then go out and find in the world, or you can call in scouts to like if you find like this like a really big
The
cache
whistle?
of materials that you can't carry back to the hideout yourself, you can like call them in to like you can mark it so that they'll come in and pick it up for you and take it back to the hideout and stuff. So that
Nothing
stuff's
has
pretty cool.
nothing has ever been as cool as the button in Brotherhood that just like made assassins jump out of hay
Yes.
bales and
Yes,
shit
yes,
to
that
like
was
kill
fucking
people
sick.
for you. I miss that so fucking much. That was
That
so
was such a
cool.
good idea.
And I am so early in the story too that I have not even gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, where does this intersect with like the Assassin Brotherhood thing? Like I'm not even quite there yet. I know it's coming. And I have only played as Sasuke once, and that was kind of in the opening. Is it Yasuke? Is that
Yasuke.
what did I say?
Yeah.
You said
That's-
Sasuke.
Okay,
This
Yasuke.
ain't Naruto, boy.
Sasuke's from Naruto.
I have not played as
Chidori.
him except for the very beginning of the game, and his story seems really intriguing. So, and he's obviously more of a tank, so I don't really know how that's going to work out once I actually start. But I think Naue is more of like you're probably going to play as her way more than you play as him. So I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Pleasantly surprised. But you know, I am playing. It's one of those things where like I'm still kind of deeply in love with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so I'm gonna be kind of like bouncing back and forth between these two games for probably a year.
Speaking of
So-
deeply in love, did you make out with your beau yet?
in
Kingdom
Kingdom
Come?
Come.
Who
No,
are you
no.
romancing in that?
So,
There's one person to romance, you fucko.
oh, you mean Hans?
I mean, it's not spoilers at this
I'm
point.
sorry.
Everybody knows, right? It's not spoilers at this point. Everybody knows.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have not really been especially. Is that the only romance option?
No.
More.
The only one that
I'm having, like,
matters.
I'm having like lots of sex.
I mean, yeah, it
in
is.
the game.
No, I'm
Here,
talking
I
about
bet
romance.
Henry and
I'm
Hans
talking
go
about
out and
love,
fuck ladies
Nick,
together all the
okay?
time. But when they make love,
Yeah.
it's to each
Love.
other.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm having sex. Come
the
on,
only
dude.
the only love that Nick is going for in a video game is physically related. So
love of the
About
dice.
your
for Nick.
soulmate. Yeah, love of the dice.
Look, dude,
Love of the ponies.
Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the game that's gonna have that's gonna have to be beaten for me for Game of the Year. Holy shit, I love that game so much, and I've had so many.
How much
I've
have you
had
played? It still
happy
doesn't
for you,
seem like. It's funny that like
I'm in this.
It's-
I'm
like
in the
Nick
second.
finally clicks with a fantasy game that removed all the fantasy out of the fantasy game.
Yeah.
That's
No, but like,
You
You
on
know,
brand
gonna
for you.
find
Like,
some
come on.
way to like
come on, like
undercut my love of a game.
historical like
fireballs
knights
are
and
ill.
shit is fucking sick. Like knights
Dude.
in and of themselves are cool.
I've played about 65 hours of that game or something. I'm in the second half, like or second map or whatever, where it's gotten even bigger. And man, that game is it's so fucking good. And I've hit so many story moments where I'm like, oh my god, nobody told me that not only is the game like this is such a really
Easy?
great like systems driven game, but like the story is just fucking constantly popping off. And I'm talking like some of the best side quests I've ever played. Like fuck, man, that game is the real deal. And it is probably going up there. It's like up
Is
there
it the
with like Red Dead.
Suikoden 2 of like of Western RPGs where everyone's gonna say like, dude, skip the first one, even though it's like the story is like directly connected and
Yeah.
probably makes the story of
Probably.
the second one even better.
One's
But
pretty
everyone says
good,
just
but
play
like
number
if you
two.
want to start with 2, like
Probably. I mean, it happens a lot in video games,
Wow.
so probably yes.
that's
Um,
great. I
but
mean,
man.
hey, I'm happy for you, Nick. Like
I
I'm
made a
glad that you
decision in the
connected.
story that I was like genuinely like my jaw was on the floor, and I was like, that's my decision. I have to live with it now. But it was such a cool fucking moment, and I was like, oh, it was like when I play like Mass Effect and shit, right? I'm almost always like a basic bitch goody two shoes like Paragon player. Like that's how I am in like every game. And this is the first game that I can remember where they presented me with a moment where it's like I can do the thing I would do 95% of the time, or I can give in to temptation and do something fucking just evil. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. I want to do it. I want to do this too much.
Have you at least
I'm gonna regret
started
it.
stealing?
Got that dark urge going.
And I haven't even really been stealing much. But like I did a thing where I was just like, and I did like a really dark thing, and I was like, and like the impact it's having on my character is like being felt in the story, and I'm just like,
That's sick.
this is so good. This is just so fucking good.
But I just want you to know what
It's
you're
really brought out the
feeling-
worst in you, Nick.
What you're feeling right
Yeah.
now for this game is what people who actually like Japanese games felt about like Metaphor Refantasio. I just want you to know that.
You say, but like, okay, that's fine. But like, you
I
say,
just
like,
want you to know.
you say
I just
that.
want you
Like,
to know. The feeling you're feeling, you'll never have for that.
so
which
I
is
still
how-
love that game.
You love Metaphor
Are we gonna-
Refantasio.
Are we gonna
Love.
have this conversation again?
Oh,
You hit
leave the
credits.
boy
I believe
alone.
you. Love.
I put it on my top 10, bro. I had to like,
You. How many times I got to tell you that line is almost an insult when it comes out of your mouth?
but
I
only
put
to
it
you.
on my top 10. I
Only
hit
to you.
credits. No,
Motherfucker.
man. I think people know what I'm getting at here. That you're like, let me profess my love for this thing by saying I put it on my top 10. I finished it, dog. You know what I'm saying. It's like you would never like I put Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on my top 10. Think about that line. You would never say that line to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, right?
Sure, I would.
Say I put The Last of Us on my top 10. Say it like that. Say I put The Last of Us on my top 10.
I'm not,
Come on.
well, when you use that kind of,
You mean exactly the way you say that?
fuck off.
Say it. Say it. Nick, say it.
Jesus Christ.
I put Red Dead Redemption 2 on my top 10. I hit credits. Say it. It feels gross. It feels gross.
Well, when you say it like that, it makes me feel gross.
It's the way you
So-
say it. You pull it out of your pocket every time and deliver it that way.
Because you force me to.
No,
God damn it.
I'm just saying. This is just
You
two
accuse
people
me.
over here. We've been talking about video games for a very, very long time, Nick. You cannot accuse me of like not of like literally just making this up. I am sensing something here.
You make me feel like I should just start omitting, like I should make a top 10 and then chop off the last two games, like the top, like the 9 and 10. I should just get
You
rid
mean
of.
make them use different restrooms? Yeah, maybe.
What?
Let's move on. Let's move on.
What the fuck?
What the actual fuck?
Nick is the one with these beliefs. Okay. Moving on.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Fuck
All right.
I
I
don't know.
don't know anymore.
I don't know.
We used to be
Monster
family
Hunter.
friendly,
We're
you
talking
know?
about Monster Hunter.
I guess
Brad
we're talking
crossed
about
the
Monster.
line.
I
Monster
said-
Hunter. What about
Not
Monster
the
Hunter?
Monster Hunter you
Crispy's
think.
awake.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Yeah, I
How
didn't want
is
to
it-
burn out on
how-
Monster Hunter Wilds before title update 1.
How
So
do
what am I gonna
you-
do?
How do you hunt monsters without becoming one yourself?
That's a good question.
Man,
never
I
know.
want to talk about this because man, Monster Hunter used to be different. And I know this. I've been playing Monster Hunter for a long time. Since the PSP, since the demo of Monster Hunter
What
on
happened?
PlayStation, official PlayStation Magazine demo disc. You know, it's been a long time.
Man, they really downgraded the graphics on this.
Yeah,
It's actually
they made it.
quite
What
They
is
made
this
it
loading
shitty on purpose.
No,
Nick.
Wait a
this is
second.
this is the game running on a Steam Deck. Don't you know that?
What is the?
Well, so
What-
I want to be clear here.
Oh.
Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is a like port of a 3DS game. This is like the 3DS.
What is that loading screen? Why does it look like Patapon? Like to
That's what it used to look like.
Yeah, that's just it cuts to
Yeah.
the map. It shows you the area you're going in with the numbers.
It used to be
Yeah, that's
cheery,
just old
colorful
Monster Hunter.
games.
So obviously, I'm like, well, I have a Switch here, and when I'm, traveling or at work or something, I can't play Monster Hunter Wilds. What can I play? And I'm like, oh, well, I could just play this one. So I've never played through Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and I say that, and that's an understatement. Playing through, there's so much content in this game. It would take like far longer than it would to playing through like a modern Monster Hunter game, honestly.
Aren't there like
Because this
90
is kind of
something
like the
monsters?
Smash Ultimate or something of Monster Hunter. Like all of the monsters are fucking in here, kind of. Not all of them, but
There's
it's
like
got a lot.
9 different kinds of fucking Rathlos. Like,
Yeah, it's wild. It's all here, right? And this is kind of like their spin-off series, I guess, if you will. It's not like mainline, right? This is
This is for the pros. This is
no, it's not even about that. It's just
Nick,
it's the first one where they got a little wild, which is not
this
even
one's for the boys, Nick.
technically there's always been like a portable series and like a mainline series, and this is kind of like, I guess, maybe an entry in the quote unquote portable Monster Hunter series, even though the mainline
from
series
the
became
Rise team,
portable.
according to Papa Shot.
This is the Rise team. Okay.
According to Papa
And
Shot
Rise
in
kind
chat.
of had like Generations Ultimate energy. A lot of the like special abilities, like your wire bug, like skills, like straight up came from the various like special abilities and stances
Chills and stuff.
from Generations Ultimate. Like this is the one where they got really wild. Like when you pick a weapon, where you don't just pick a weapon, you pick a weapon, you pick like a fight, like a style for that weapon, which can like dramatically change the way you play that weapon. And then you just have like supers, like you're charging up like super meters to like do these like special abilities,
That
and you like
lion's
unlock
maw.
all these different ones for different weapons, and you have like a whole like one person who plays like the great sword could be having a very different time than someone else. Like right now I'm playing Valor Greatsword, which is which is incredibly sick. You have it's all about this special sheath animation where you see me glowing blue. That's me sheathing my weapon, and at any point where I'm sheathing the great sword, and you also got to understand that like
Yeah, sheath your weapon.
old great sword does a lot of like crit draw stuff. Like it's all about like that attack that you're doing like out of sheath, and kind of like the ways you can like buff that up and stuff. But the special sheath, if you get attacked at any point during this sheath, like you do like an auto dodge and it sheaths your weapon, right? But like out of that sheathing animation, you can do like charge attacks. You could do like special abilities out of doing that. But if you get attacked during it, you'll like auto sheath, your bar fills up a little bit if you do one of those attacks. And once you fill that bar, at least with Valor Greatsword, you enter like this Valor state, like this Valor mode, or like a super powered state where it's like you can move unlike you can in any Monster Hunter game with a greatsword. You're like dash, 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 dash. You're zipping all around, and it like changes the way your greatsword works. And your unsheathing attack out of when you're in Valor mode is like this insane, like you like fucking fly forward and like do like this insane wind up to like a really powerful like charge attack. Just really cool shit. And on top of that, like hitting the enemy hard and well is what charges up these like other like superpowers, like these your meters, these meters to do your like these powerful abilities. And like the one on this that I have equipped is called Lion's Maw. And when you do it, like your whole face turns like a dark shadow and your eyes are glowing red. And your next attack is going to be like 3 times damage, right? So it's all about like building up this Valor bar to get into like this Valor mode to where you have this really powerful like unsheathing charged attack, but doing it when you've hit them with Lion's Maul so that your next attack is like 3 times damage. And then it's all about just unleashing one amazingly strong hit. And if you can get off a few of those in a hunt, you're probably done. But it's cool. And like that's like a completely different way of playing Greatsword versus like some of these other modes. Like it's just cool. It's just cool. Cool.
What
They
a
give you a
whip.
lot of cool tools, but it is still old Monster Hunter, which means there's no damage numbers. You have like everything you bring with you is like all you have really. And
How are you supposed to get satisfaction?
if you run out of like mega potions, you better go like find some honey or something, dog, because there's no like restocking at camp. It's a lot more considered back then, right? Because shit was hard, right? If you're in the
this was
desert
before
and you're running out of cool drinks, you're
This was
just
before
gonna be
Monster Hunter was mainstream, or at least in the West, right?
well, worldwide mainstream. Yeah, sure.
Well, people overseas, like people playing this in Japan, were like fucking hardcore about it.
Well, Generations Ultimate, like for Switch, like the port G rank version plus port, whatever that came out for the Switch, did come out after World. Actually, World came out before this, but like the original game Generations was a Japanese only release, and it only came out for 3DS over there.
Right.
That version, like the regular base game, never came out in the West. Just the Switch version, which did come out after World, but it was like very shortly after World. And a lot of people like maybe picked this up and was like, "Whoa, this is different," because it's old Monster Hunter. So there's no damage numbers. There's no like restocking all your items in camp. So you really had to think about it, right? Like this is back when you drank a health potion and then afterwards you flexed. There was a flex animation. All this to say,
why'd they get rid of that in current games?
Because it's a different like design philosophy, right? Like the whole point was there was a very long recovery to healing, meaning it created this tension, right? You have to find a window, and the only way you're going to find a window is if you really understand how a monster works, or when you have to really understand that you have an opening. And sure enough, it reached those moments of like, okay, you're drinking, I'm gonna make it, and like the monster's like turns and then it sees you and starts charging you down, and it's like, can I get this potion, do the stupid flex animation, and then dive out of the way, roll out of the way in time to not get hit. And a lot of times, yes, you just get hit because it's old Monster Hunter, but like even the monster animations were very like, it was very deliberate, like the way the monster turned was very like, I'm gonna turn this way and then this way, and then I've like turned all the way around, and like
they're operating on tank controls.
Well, it's not so much that it's just it's a lot more. The animation design was a lot simpler and considered, and all that is still true, but it's just monsters are way more like mobile and fluid and all over the fucking place. And here, since like you're a hammer and it's all about like landing that headshot, you're charging up your hammer shot while the monster is like facing 90 degrees away from you, because when you let go and you swing it down, that'll be when the monster like turns its head towards you, and that head will be right in front of your hammer. And like, because the monster movements were so deliberate back then, that's how you hit the monster. Because now you just through focus mode, it doesn't matter, because even a true charge slash, you could aim in any direction 180 degrees, right? Back in the day, weapons, you couldn't just change the direction, you would just fucking miss. So it was understanding and studying these deliberate monster animations and attacks. That's how you hit the monster. And it was a hunting game. You had to prepare and be prepared and go in and understand the monster, right? The first hunt is going to be very different than like the 50th hunt versus that monster. And by the way, you couldn't just like make a weapon like by killing a monster once, right? You'd have to kill it like maybe like 3 or 4 times before you can make that weapon or a few pieces of that armor. Like it was a lot harder to get monster pieces back then because they expected you to fight monsters a lot. It's so different than like, say, the low rank story of Wilds. It's crazy, but I do kind of miss this. I miss aspects of old school Monster Hunter, and
That's why you're playing this now.
Well, really, it's because it's the Monster Hunter game I haven't played that I have on my Switch. That's why I'm playing it. But like, absolutely, I think if you truly enjoy Monster Hunter, even if you haven't played an old school Monster Hunter, there's a lot to love here, right? Because Generations Ultimate is the crazy one. It is the one with like all the crazy styles and like abilities. This is where Blast Dash came from. If you could get a sense of like look at the way I can dodge with my greatsword here is insanity. But like I still can't like redirect an attack mid attack. I'm still committed to hitting my swing, so I still miss a lot. But when I'm all powered up and charged up, you just have a lot of fucking controls, man. And what's cool about Generations Ultimate is like it is like a Smash Brothers Ultimate kind of thing. Like you're gonna encounter like so many monsters that have been in the series throughout the series, and you get into like variants and stuff, and shit gets really hard. Another aspect of old school Monster Hunter though is these were multiplayer games. Like Monster Hunter was born multiplayer, and when we talk about like the village quests, like so back then they call them like village quests and like the hub quests, right? There's now it's kind of like, oh well, there's low rank and then there's high rank and stuff, and then post game. But before it was village quest and it was hub quest. And village quests you can kind of do single player, but once you get into hub, those were monsters that were tuned for multiplayer. Like they didn't have hit points pools for monsters based on the fact that you were by yourself. Like if you're trying to solo the hub quests, which is where the meat of the game is, they're gonna be long fucking hunts, and your hunter better be up to snuff in like really good fucking gear, and you better really know that hunt, or it's going to be a long fucking hunt, because they're designed to be played with 4 hunters, right? Or
Which
at
you are
least
not playing
at least more
with,
than one, right?
or are you playing with
Well, so
other
I'm still
people?
going through the village. The thing about Monster Hunter Generations is there's so many quests. Luckily, there was an app that existed back then, and it still exists. You can still get it, where you can kind of like use it to like track all your quests. It actually has like everything in that fucking app. It's kind of an amazing app. But one of the things is to unlock the next like tier of rank, like 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, you have to do certain key quests to spawn the urgent quest, which actually promotes you to the next tier. This game has so many quests, and they don't tell you what the key quests are. I mean, for the most part, it's a lot of like the traditional hunts, but there's like a ton of like gathering quests. There's a ton of like monster slaying quests where you're like just killing like the small monsters. Which, by the way, another thing that's kind of been lost in modern Monster Hunter is small monsters are just, they're like nothing. It doesn't matter, right? They don't actually like fuck you up. But like in old Monster Hunter, a bullfanga would like ruin your fucking life, dude. You'd be having like a really tough hunt, and like you're sharpening, you're healing, you're just like, I got to get back in there, and a fucking bullfanga would come out of nowhere and just knock your fucking ass into the ground or off a cliff into the next screen and just ruin your fucking life. They were a pain in the ass back then. So there's stuff like skills in Monster Hunter Wilds of like, oh, make it to where small monsters pay attention to you less. Like those skills come from like back when that stuff actually matters. Same with like the gathering stuff, right? Back then, I mean, not so much Generation
But that's
Ultimate.
all stuff that was done in the interest of increasing mass appeal, I would imagine.
Well, it was quality of life. I don't know if they necessarily expected Monster Hunter to blow up as much as it did when World came out, but yeah, I mean they've always been streamlining things, and even Generations Ultimate is a lot more streamlined than like Monster Hunter games before that, right? Like you play as the Palicos in this. You can play as a Palico. They have weapons. But like the main reason you use them is because, also old Monster Hunter thing, if you want to go into a map and mine at a mining point, or catch butterflies, or gather like those, like your bug net, your pickaxe, that's a resource
They're all
that
single
breaks.
use. Yeah.
You have to
Your
bring a certain
barbecue
amount,
grill,
you know how
everything.
sharpening, you have to bring a certain amount of whetstones. It's a
And then
depletable
don't
resource,
they have
sharpening your
different
weapon.
don't they
Yeah.
have different quality pickaxes too?
Yes,
So
they
it's
do.
like you have to get a better pickaxe to be able to mine
It's like
this
the last, think
code.
the last Animal Crossing game, right? Where you have the wooden weapons, and you could
Yeah.
chop down 3 trees before your axe breaks or whatever, right? It was like that back then. But the thing is, you could play as the Palico, and they have unlimited gathering stuff. So if you really want to go on a gathering quest, you just pick a Palico and gather all the shit you want. And like that's a huge quality of life, over like older Monster Hunters. And even the Palicos in this game are really powerful as like companions. They're not like the Palico from Wilds, but you do bring a couple of them, and they are like healing you and like knocking you out of stuns and stuff. So like this is still more like user friendly than say like playing like Try or like a fucking PSP Monster Hunter game. So like it's still very playable. You just kind of there's an adjustment period, but like you're getting like such good things out of that as well because this is back when it still kind of felt like a hunting game, right? With that said, I've been talking to Crispy. I want to see the stuff in this game, but I can't solo the hub stuff, right? I'm not good enough at this game, and I'm not. And
Oh,
those
I
hunts
see
would
where
take
this is going.
those hunts would take too long, so I'm committed. And
This
I'm
is a
not talking
recruitment
about like
mission.
I'm not talking about dabbling in some like post game, like oh come help me kill like Rajang so I can get some pants crispy. No, like I want to play
Pants.
through this. I want to play through this game, and it's many dozens of hours probably to get through all the content in this game. And I'm gonna have to do it multiplayer. And I asked Crispy if he's willing to come along. I am committed to actually like regularly be playing a multiplayer game, which is something I never do. But like, there's so much cool shit in this game, and I want to see it all. And I need a homie. So, and I'm willing to do like regular streams of this too if he's willing to play. Do you
Oh
have
yeah,
Nintendo Online Pass and all that shit?
I do.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
let's do it,
I'm
man.
ready to
Let's do
go.
it.
I just need
Uh,
to. I already did. I downloaded the game and did like a couple 1-star quests. So obviously I have a ways to go to gear up and get
yeah,
ready for it.
for sure,
But
for sure.
I accept your challenge. I'm ready to go on this epic journey.
There it is. The magic
Fucking
is
dope,
happening.
man.
Look at this.
Also, just as a final say, there's like a ton of free DLC and event quests for this game, and like they were on their shit back then. There is so much cool crossover stuff for this game. Like you can get like Samus's armor, Zero Suit Samus's armor, and like their weapons. Like the fucking blaster is like a fucking heavy bow gun, you know. You can get like the Link's costume from I think it's like Skyward Sword or whatever, and like the sword and shield, it has a sword and shield that's just
The
the
Hylian
fucking
shield and the
master
master sword.
sword and the shield, and they also have like a bow that is just Link's bow. Like there's a ton of crossover stuff, especially for the Palicos. This shit looks so fucking cool,
Was
and all
this the
that
game?
you just can just download it. You could just download it to your Switch, and they're all just there.
Was this the
So
game
sick.
that had the lance that was the Ace Attorney one, where it's like the shield
Yes,
was the
yes,
objection and the
yes.
lance was like his
Yes,
finger?
there's so much good
That's
crossover
badass.
DLC. And it was never this good. There was some cool stuff in like World and Rise, but it was never this cool. Maybe it's just because the Nintendo stuff hits different, but even the Capcom stuff was better back then. So and they did announce for Wilds, Capcom crossover DLC is coming this summer. I hope that shit is good. I hope that shit is good, and I hope there's some good Okami stuff for real.
That would make a lot of sense, especially if they're
Ooh,
trying
for Okami sequel?
to build some
Yeah,
Okami
but I mean, what
hype.
do you can't skin a fucking you can't you could skin a Palamute as Amaterasu. You can't skin a fucking Chocobo. Although there has been good Final Fantasy crossover with Monster Hunter in the past. Like they're
But like a
probably gonna do
legit
Chocobo
Maybe
skins, right?
maybe they'll introduce Palamutes back into the game.
That
A
would be sick.
giant
Maybe like in
Tonberry.
G rank. Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Also, I'm ready for like the next the follow-up to Generations Ultimate and Rise, where like they get crazy. I really love both versions of Monster Hunter.
Whatever.
I kind of wish they kept this one as the crazy one and they scaled back more for like the main like Wilds, but Wilds is a little, I don't know. I'm ready for it to get hard. It's gonna get hard.
He's ready
But
for it to
I'm
get
ready.
hard.
I'm ready for title
Look at
update
this
1.
pro
I don't know if
gamer
like
here.
Mizutsune is gonna like, back people into the corner that much. It's just Mizu, but Arc Temper Ray Dow, I'm excited. I think that's gonna like fuck people up.
Disintegrate.
It better. And I really hope they're like right now in the process of really over tuning Zoshia, the final boss. I want the high rank version of that monster to also like scare the shit out of people. Cause I don't know. Well,
should.
whatever. I'm excited.
It should.
And there's just cool
All right.
monsters. Like I thought like Tetsukabra is like a frog type. He's in here. I fought the last hunt I did was I forget his name, like Melphis. It's an owl. It's a fucking giant owl, and it was super
That's
cool.
cool.
Super cool. Ow, who has a confusion attack, which hasn't been in Monster Hunter in a very long time, which reverses your controls. And let me tell you, when
Oh,
you're trying to
fuck
charge
that.
a greatsword
Fuck that.
and you're just right in front of the owl and you're doing it in the opposite direction, it hurts your heart because
That
you
sounds
got confused.
fucking awful, but it's cool.
It's cool. Very cool.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break here in a second, and when we come back, Chris Davis has been playing a lot of Dragon's Dogma 2. I've been noticing that, so we'll
Weird.
check in with
Okay,
him on
that's
that.
cool.
I mean, it is Chris Davis we're talking about here.
Yeah.
But hey, better late than never. And we'll talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened yesterday, and I think we got some Fantasy Critic stuff to talk about. So still plenty to talk about. So if you're listening at home or watching us live on twitch.tv/4Player Podcast, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. Hey, you know what I forgot to mention real quick while I was talking about Shadows earlier in the show? I played that game on Steam Deck. Runs remarkably well.
Installed on the Steam Deck?
Installed on the Steam Deck. Runs
How come you never
remarkably
do
well.
Moonlight anymore?
I do Moonlight. I do use
Oh.
Moonlight, but I was also testing because I wanted to see, because I saw that it was verified. I heard some people say that it runs pretty well, and I was like, but does it run well enough that I could like play it on my lunch break kind of well, or should I just like use Moonlight?
What does it do to the
booted it up.
battery though? Are like the fans going like crazy?
No, actually, not terribly. And I played it for like 45 minutes, and the battery life it still had like 80% battery when I was done. So I was like,
Really?
I don't know what they did, but it's running pretty damn good. The only
Weird.
thing is, it seems to require, and I'm not, Crispy, you said you had tried to like access Assassin's Creed in my library. Did you try it again by chance?
Yeah, it's still not in there.
What?
You know what I
I don't
think it
know
is? I think I figured out what it is, because they require the Ubisoft Uplay
No
thing
way.
to play. Yeah, you have to log in to play it. So I'm
What do you-
guessing.
You
So
can't
you
play.
can't Steam share
I
that
don't
game?
see it either. There's no Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is.
Sucks.
I know, fucking sucks. Bullshit. Hey, it's a well. Oh,
That's so stupid.
I also didn't mention that this was the first game where you I can't even remember what they called it. What was the thing that they talked about doing? The anime, where they were gonna make the Animus or whatever, like the
Infinity, which they just
The
call
Infinity.
the Animus now.
which I feel like they
Animus
just stopped talking about, and now it's just a thing.
Yeah.
So, but like when you
I don't know
boot
what
up,
you're talking about.
they talked about making Assassin's Creed Infinity like a platform for Assassin's Creed games, and nobody really. It was kind of like, what do you mean by that? And now it's just a
Oh.
thing, and
Yeah, like that thing they did with Halo back in the day before 343 split off. Like they had,
Yeah.
remember that? It was like Halo Command Center or something like that.
same
It was the
concept.
Halo
Yeah.
channel. Yeah.
So you boot up Assassin's Creed now, and then all of a sudden you can see, and this is probably why they require your. I'm guessing that's why they require your Uplay account, because you can see all of the Assassin's Creed games that you have like played and linked to your Uplay account, and you can just like sort between them before jumping into the game. So I can see Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and like you can see your save game there, and you can just, assuming it's installed on your system, just jump into it.
And like when you
Man,
play,
which is
things,
interesting.
There's meta challenges that you can do to get in-game content, stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure I
it's-
have a Uplay account. Bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just my guess. Like, that's the one weird thing about it. So I'm guessing that's probably why it doesn't. The same rules don't apply for the Steam Family Share thing or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Chris Davis,
Hi.
what got you playing Dragon's Dogma 2?
So
well,
fucking random.
how is okay, so let me
I
explain
mean,
here.
it's not random.
Last
whatever.
week was spring break for my college, and
Mhm.
I wanted something to play that was mildly Monster Hunter Wilds adjacent in a way, without
What?
having to actually watch and beg y'all to actually
Yeah.
find a time slot for me to actually play it.
You're telling me you're
We're not
playing
even
Dragon's
playing
Dogma 2
Monster.
to
You can
avoid
play
playing Monster Hunter?
Wilds.
I mean, look.
Hey,
I
look, they're
just-
both good games, so
Dude, I've played Destiny all week. Like, like what are you talking about?
We're waiting for title update 1. It would have been the perfect week to play Monster Hunter Wilds.
I thought y'all were still playing it, so I wasn't gonna risk it. So
You're a bad.
You just don't want to
team
play
family
Monster
member.
Hunter. Just
You're
say
a-
you don't want to play Monster Hunter. Say you hate it. Say you think we're dumb for liking it. Just tell us how you feel, Chris Davis.
okay. So
Ed would love to have been in this family. He would have played our games, and we would have played his.
I'm sorry,
What the
Ed. I love
fuck,
you.
dude.
I actually didn't realize
can
Ed
I
wasn't
fucking
in the
talk
family.
about Dragon's Dogma 2?
He can't.
I-
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I noticed that this was available. Nolan, the last person who played it was Nolan. That was 3 months ago. I was like, okay, this is available. I can play it. So I started this up. And inside of 5 days, I put in about 45 hours. And then I started to realize, oh, this is kind of a problem.
But
and
like a good problem.
It's a good video
problem.
game.
It's a
not
good
problem.
problem, but a problem.
In the world of video game podcasting, having a game that you like that you play that much of it, that's a good thing.
Yeah, but
Just saying.
devoting that much time in your late 30s to playing it inside of 5 days, that many hours.
Okay.
That's the thing. So
Way to age us.
That's the best time to play. Late 30s is when you figure it out. It's when you go, oh, yeah,
That's
I'm
when
just
you
going to play
don't wanna leave
Dragon's
your
Dogma
house.
2.
You don't want to be
also when you
social
don't have much time
anymore.
So I started playing this. I swear to you, I must be on the last couple of quest lines of the main story. I
You
just
sure about that?
I just
Yeah.
dealt with like the walking colossus thing.
You
Oh,
never
okay. I mean-
watched that Jacob Geller video, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, you've been playing Dragon's Dogma 1, you dumb shit.
Wait.
You've not even started Dragon's Dogma
You haven't even
2.
started Dragon's Dogma 2.
Oh, well, fuck. Okay. So I've been prepared for like the past day to like finish this game. So I guess I'll work on that this weekend then.
Wait,
Oh, you
okay,
gotta-
so no, but
But there's some
okay.
hoops he's got to jump through. If
There's
he's
a
actually
lot
gonna
of
do
shit
that, right?
out in the world. How much like exploration have you done?
Well, you will see the map pop eventually, but I've discovered pretty much everything as far as I can tell. Everything that I can get to normally.
Did you do
Uh,
both lines of the Sphinx quest?
Yeah, all the Sphinx stuff is done.
Like both quest lines?
Yeah, all 10 of the riddles I did, including the one where you actually
you've been
fight
looking
it at the
shit
very
up.
end.
Did you find the first? Did you go back and find the first token or whatever?
Well, see,
Secret
I
token,
knew
yeah.
about that in advance, so I sure as shit knew
you're
exactly
welcome.
where I found it for the first time. So,
I knew
You're
about
welcome.
it, but I knew about
I
it
didn't.
after...
It's a fucking bloody miracle that I managed to figure that out because I did not know it was a thing when it came up for me, and yeah.
Yeah, there's some obtuse thinking around some of that stuff, but if
Aren't there
you
some hoops
are-
you have to jump through to get that second part of the game that we're referring to
Mhm.
here? But if he's already done most of that stuff, would he have done that probably
No, that's
anyways?
at the very end of the game. Very end of
Okay.
the game is where you
I
do
can't
the-
remember the specifics.
is where you start the post game. Obviously, it's a decision you make in the final moments of the game.
But you
Okay.
can make the wrong decision and then end up not having that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but you're given the opportunity.
Oh,
can
right.
always-
I remember now. Okay.
Yeah,
Be very careful, Chris Davis. If you want more Dragon's Dogma to play,
So you, okay,
Is-
you're doing the overpowered
wisely.
shit. So
Yeah.
are you just playing dual blades or whatever they call it in Dragon's Dogma?
No, so I've been bouncing between vocations as soon as I max them out. So I started with Archer because I thought that had like the magic Archer stuff, which I was very wrong about. From there, I went to Mystic Spear, which is awesome. It's my favorite class. I went to Trickster, which is a cool idea, but I don't think it's well implemented.
It's not well. They should have let you swap when you got the warfare, and then
Yeah,
kept
I haven't
your-
actually gotten the Warfare just yet. But then I
Oh.
went I then went on
You
to
get it in the same
Warrior.
place you got
I jumped
your-
over to Thief. And this is me footage and Thief. And
Thief is
I just last night unlocked Mystic Archer, and I've been messing around with that. And that's kind of disappointing to me.
You're playing this on PC?
Yeah.
Dude, I hear there's like a mod scene for this game that can really tune stuff. Because I mean, like, let's be real here. Like, this game has all kinds of like balance issues and whatnot.
Yes.
And they've really like messed with the innards of this game to like make it a much like cooler experience. And I
have several mods going.
I so badly want them to do a expansion for this game like they did the first one. And if I don't, I'm gonna be heartbroken. Damn.
Do we know how this game ended up doing? Like,
I mean,
sales wise,
it sold pretty well. Yeah.
Like I mean, they made money on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they made their money back and then some. I've unlocked those vocations. Mystic Spear is my favorite. I love that. It's like a Mass Effect Vanguard with its charge and the spear.
It don't feel that good, but it don't feel
it
Vanguard
could be better.
good.
But there's a lot of things I have issues with this game. Modding wise, I should have mentioned. I've got the infinite fairy stones and I've got the item weight halved, which I cannot believe that game would launch with that balancing of items. That is absurd.
Pump the brakes.
Infinite fairy stones? You're doing the same shit you did to Stalker? Homie, this is a game about the journey.
Bro, you can't
hang on,
fast travel Stalker unless I get to a certain guide in a certain town. Like, you can't really fast travel like you can in this.
Thank goodness.
What happened?
So there's
he's using mods, infinite fairy stones, shit like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Motherfuckers never even get on Oxcart.
No. Some of those fucking quests are impossible without fairy stones, especially if the Sphinx shit. Like the one where you have to bring your max affinity NPC with you all the way to the fucking Sphinx for her to inspect them. Like, no. Like, and then there's the quest where you have to take the urn to the guy in Back Batal. No, fuck that shit. You gotta use fairy stones. That is critical to this fucking experience.
But like, that's not even a quest if you use a fairy stone. Like, that's the whole point. Like, you gotta.
That's fucked up, dude. That's fucked up.
Fuck y'all and your judgmental bullshit. I'm actually
Chris Davis
playing a game
video games
like fucking,
to maximize fun.
It's like passionately in a dev diary or whatever in the announcement of this game talked about how important those elements are to him and his heart. And you're using mods.
I'm so sorry, Itsuno, but it doesn't work for me. You know what?
I'm not an
Sometimes
appreciator
you
of
can
art.
be wrong about the way you're making a video game.
I'm a consumer of content.
Wrong? You're saying he's wrong? You're saying the people who enjoy Dragons Dogma in the way that it is meant to be played are wrong?
Yeah. Sometimes he could just be wrong. It just happens in life. Sometimes you're just wrong.
Zerby says you cheated not only the game but yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, the
I
irony.
don't fucking care.
Oh, the fucking irony.
So here's something I want to address out loud that really annoys me about this game.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it, because I thought you modded out at all the annoyance.
The only things I have modded are half-weight items and infinite fairy stones. That's it, okay? Everything else is vanilla.
Huge...
Wait, what was the other thing? Half-weight
weight,
items?
his weight, encumbrance.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, tell us about this game you made up that you've been playing.
So the real thing that has come to annoy me over the
I
past
also have
couple
a mod so I can see in the dark.
It's the XP grind in this game.
Oh,
and
I know,
the
right?
two different XP models that they have in the game. So yeah, I got to level 58 yesterday with my character. Yeah. That's not my issue. My issue is the vocational XP that's going on. It is so misbalanced for what the game wants you to experience. It is so
weird.
What
the game wants you to experience?
Yes. Hey, hang on. Hold your fucking horses. Let me finish. Okay. So the most attractive, most exciting point about this game are like the mini bosses you find, right? The trolls, the orcs, the cyclopses, things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
that's the most bombastic moment. That's when the music is so high and exciting, and you're really enjoying yourself.
As you're
And it
walking
happens-
to your destination, not
And
teleporting.
it happens very, very often. The problem is that the value of those DCP points that you get that go towards your vocation is monumentally small compared to a normal mob. If I kill like 3 goblins, just regular mobs that are around the area, I get the same amount of DCP points for vocation as I would killing a fucking ogre. That's fucking stupid. You're not giving
Okay,
me
yeah.
value, and even the rewards for killing these mini
So
bosses.
it retunes like the way experience is divvied out. Are you getting more experience? Because
No.
like the problem with like the truth is, and was the case in both Dragons Dogmas, is both games started out like hard, where like things are threatening, and they took a long time to fight, like a monster hunter battle or something, and then by the end of the game you're just killing stuff in seconds.
Okay, so
Does
here's the
this
thing.
mod like solve that problem?
No, I have no mods like that. It's literally just infinite fairy stones and half weight items. That's
No,
it.
but
I
those are
didn't
the
do anything
good
else.
kinds of mods. The mods
Yes.
that makes it a balanced,
Yes.
challenging experience
That's
all the way through.
all
I'm
I'm
asking
doing.
you, does this EXP tuning actually make it to where you're getting less
He hasn't tuned
experience?
it.
I'm not tuning it at all. I'm talking about the basic vanilla balance of XP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just talking about the game as it is.
Let
He
me
didn't
give you
do
an
anything.
example. I killed there.
Oh, so
the
you're
other
just
day I
complaining.
went and I fought a drake.
Yeah.
Okay, I
He's
found
just
a
complaining
drake
about this.
out in the valley of Batal, and I killed it, and I got like 178 DCP. I walked like 100 feet to my right, fought 4 harpies, and I got more than that. Like that's stupid. You're devaluing the
You're not
rewards
wrong.
of this big epic moment.
You're not wrong, but there are like the good kind of mods out there that I think are fucking with that stuff. You should look into that stuff instead of
You know,
mean,
people don't do this with like books and movies, right? Like,
they do.
do they? Does someone
Yeah.
read Game of Thrones and go like, "Oh, another Arya chapter," and just skip it? Like,
They do. Well, they don't
Yeah,
skip it.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They don't skip it, but they do
I
complain.
never thought about that. Maybe I should do that.
Not with
And,
Arya.
and if they don't like what they're
Yeah.
reading, they go to fanfiction.net. Anyway,
You know, I will say it's annoying when Nick puts 80 hours into a game he clearly hates and just bitches about it the whole time. But at least
puts it
he's
on his
fucking
top 10.
playing the game.
Wait,
Like,
I don't even, what game are you even talking about?
oh, what's that? Metaphor Fantasio.
What
Put it on his top 10.
I fucking hate all of you right now. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god. I
Tell
should
me
just
one
like
thing that happened in that game.
I should just start I should just start like when I start my top 10, like when I start talking about my number 10, I should just talk mad shit about it. Just like make it sound like I hate it.
I mean, it's not about that. It's more just like
I only played 10 games this year, and this one was the worst. Number 10, Metaphor Refantasio.
so
I had
let me
to
ask.
willfully
the
pick. I had to for me, it literally came down to Dragons Dogma 2 or Metaphor Refantasio making my list,
Sounds about right.
and I picked Metaphor Refantasio.
And you will regret it forever.
So
You're making me kind of regret it.
What else? What else is in contention? Let's hear it.
I don't like how there's so much interesting stuff that has basically no value in this game. Like the Elven Kingdom.
The
Sacred
value is
Arbor.
in the experience.
Wait, he's gonna talk shit about the elves. Hang on, go ahead.
Yes, I am. Here we go. So you discover this one elven dude, okay, and he feels like a one-off, and then you naturally discover this elven city with this
Yep.
beautiful setting with this huge tree, nice waterfall. Everything looks
yeah.
gorgeous. This feels like the next hub of the story. This is where a lot of interesting quest shit should happen. And I
I do
go
wanna be
there.
clear, you're not finished with this game.
Yeah.
By any stretch.
Okay, I understand that, but like then hide this shit better, I guess, or do something that makes this
better.
be like a
What?
rewarding experience. Because I go there and I appreciate the fact that they have like the language barrier of the elves. That's fucking cool. I like the Final Fantasy X language stuff that just you naturally learn over time.
The Albed.
Albed, yeah. I mean, like this you have to have a pawn that understands the language in order to actually function properly over there. You can kind of piecemeal it out what they're actually doing over there, but whatever. But I go
It
there,
is cool.
and other than just talking to elves, there's nothing to do. Like I do the archery quest line, and then I go there and just maybe there's a quest that I just have not found that has not propagated to me, but it's just a
I'm gonna
town-
go with.
This
It's
dude needs a
nowhere.
heavy dose of Dragon's Plague in his game.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
Yeah.
I'm
this
gonna
is-
go. I'm gonna go
What?
with.
Yeah, what is this about? What is actually going on here, Chris Davis? What is this?
It's-
What's
I'll
going
tell
on?
you what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. Chris Davis, and this is not a knock against you because you are putting a lot of time into this game, but you are talking about a game without having the complete picture.
Okay. All right.
Like there's a big part of this game you haven't played yet that might recontextualize a lot for you.
True.
I'm not
Okay.
necessarily saying it's going to change the Elven thing. I can't remember all the specifics, to be honest. But
Okay. Well,
I feel like you might be singing a different tune if we come back to you again in a week and you've played through,
Yeah,
or maybe
I mean,
2 weeks after you've played
I
through.
do think like in general, and I hate to say this, right? I was just talking about Generations Ultimate, but I'll be literally playing that game for probably hundreds of hours. You were like pretty close to like wrapping your time up with this game. I feel like in general, when you cover like a game that kind of everyone is done talking about, I'm not saying you should have waited to talk about it, but like you should be waiting to draw like grand conclusions at least.
I mean, for me,
Yeah, you should have done like what I did with Metal Gear Solid 5 and just talk about how I'm gonna talk about it and then never talk about it.
True,
That's true. We haven't heard you talk about that
that's
yet.
actually
True.
right.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Finished.
He talked
One
about
day, Crispy will talk
Yakuza
about that
7
game.
before he did that. Yeah. I mean, just
Mhm.
like I really like what they're doing with the combat in this game. That's a really attractive thing. The pawns have grown on me. I kind of like the idea of the rental pawns and being able to, experiment with different party builds and things like that. Despite how stupid they could really fucking be sometimes. I love fighting mini bosses. I finally found the fucking Medusa last night. Like
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
the
That was
like the
cool.
big monster they tease you at the very beginning of the game with. Like I finally found it, and
It's just
I-
there in the world.
it
in a
was just
cave,
there.
kinda.
And I was a little disappointed by the overall fight, but that also might stem from the fact that I was level 57 at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to.
This is a game that should be experienced with like. I don't
I mean,
know.
the other
Where's
thing
damn
is that
expansion?
I was told by everybody to avoid the main quests until you had no choice to progress, because evidently it's so short. And I'm seeing that it's so short because I've done almost every side quest. The only two I haven't done, the only one I know off the top of my head that I haven't done is finding that one guy at near the excavation site that wants some kind of drink to tell you stuff. Like I don't know what's going on. With
It's
that. I'm not
funny.
cheating.
Well, like, do you know? Are you looking at like lists? Are you looking up guides? Do you? Because there's a lot more there. If there's a lot of side quests, like they don't make themselves like immediately or like easily apparent unless. But if you're following like some sort of wiki, then sure. But like, there's probably way more in there than you realize.
I log on to the wiki only to like look at general item information. I'm not trying to get like information about side quests and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
But I guess you have played a lot. I was wondering how you could have accomplished so much in only 40 hours, but now obviously I understand because you've been zip zapping around everywhere.
yeah.
Which makes sense.
Motherfucker.
So okay,
So do you
wrap it up.
never-
Wrap
do
it
you
up. I'm curious what you
never-
think.
Do you never take the cart anywhere? Do you never just like
He doesn't.
fast travel by cart and
I mean,
then
that's-
like
that's
go to
the only way to
sleep,
get to
and then you
Melv.
wake up in the middle of the night and then
Yeah.
like
The
you're in a
only way to get
fight,
to
and then
Melv.
like the troll smashes the cart and you're like, oh, I'm stuck in the middle of the fucking woods. Where even am I? And then I have to like make my way back to town. Like, is that just not part of your experience?
No, I
because that is Dragon's Dogma. Like,
I
How many
probably
pork
used
It
this
is
crystals
cart
do you
Dragon's
like
have?
Dogma.
40, 50 times at this point. Like
How many pork crystals do you have?
I have 3.
Motherfucker ain't taking the ox cart anywhere. Unlimited
I'm-
fairy stones, and he has 3 port crystals. Come on.
I strategically placed them. I placed one at the excavation site. I placed one at like the dragon guy, which gives your items the ultimate upgrade. And then the third one, I was I rotate its usage. Like I was using it for a while to go to the Sphinx. There were times I was going to Dragonsboro Tower. I mean, I use them as I think I need to use them. So
All right. Well,
Okay.
get to Dragons Dogma
Anyway.
2 and let us know.
Yeah, next time we talk about this, I want to know that you have played Dragon's Dogma 2 proper,
I want to see.
and
that
we'll just
title
see where
screen
you
change.
stand.
I hope I have a
Um,
180-degree flip on how I feel about this, but I like the game overall. I
That's
just have
funny because when
issues
you
about-
started, you had it sounded like you were very positive about the game, but whatever. Yeah, let's
I mean,
come back to us when you've played the post.
if what you've observed with Dragon's Dogma is that it's a little funky, yeah, we know.
We like it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
always been like that.
quick before we talk about this Nintendo Direct. Can I just really quickly? I forgot to mention this when I was kind of like raving about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 earlier. I just wanted to point out Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 might be the only game that has made me love fast travel.
What about Metaphor?
I mean, what the fuck? I fucking hate
Exactly.
you,
It's
Brad.
like I
What
don't
are
even
you
think
doing?
about that game. You're like fucking Don Draper on the fucking elevator. I don't even
I don't
think about you.
you. Dude, Mad Men was such a good show.
He's like, why are you bringing that up? Stop it. I hit credits. I put
Oh
it on my top
God.
10. Okay, can we please move on?
Fucking hate you
I'm
so much. All right, let's
Wait. You like fast travel because what? There's
I just think
events
it's
and
really- I
shit?
think it's
That's just
done-
like a.
I think it's
Do
done
they
really
do it like
well.
in the first game? Where
I
it's
don't know
like
how
you
it works.
set a point and then
Yeah.
it shows you on
Yeah,
a map
yeah,
like actually
yeah,
traveling,
yeah,
And then
and
things
then
can
like
happen.
things can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
like
it's
that's
that
like an
same,
old Fallout
it's that same
thing.
Dragon's
that-
Dogma thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's been around. Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
I'm just saying, but it's also like there's dice rolls. Like when you hit events that happen along the trail or whatever, you have options. Like, do you
They
want to stop
present it
or do
in
you
a
want to try to
way-
avoid it? And I just think it's neat. I'm just saying, like, typically speaking, you know me, I play these kinds of games. I don't even entertain the notion of fast travel, and I still largely don't fast travel in that game. I like
That's
to
weird.
travel by horseback, but like, I don't hesitate to fast travel in some situations because I think it's actually fun to do so, and I think that's just really kind of unusual for a game
How
like
is this
that. I
podcast
usually
so long? You know, maybe there's not much to
Hey,
talk
you.
about with that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can
considering
talk
it's the
about Metroid
last
for a
Nintendo
second.
Switch One
But I
Direct.
think we're going to talk about Metroid next week as well. Don't you think they're going to show Metroid
Yeah.
next week?
that is probably a good point. Next week is going to be another Nintendo Direct week because it's on the what day is it on? The second?
Second,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Okay, so it'll be no, the second is two. Oh no, you're right. That is Wednesday. So
Okay,
we
but if
won't.
we don't,
Yeah,
if
we
we
won't
don't
do
talk
That
about
will be
Nintendo's
after we record
stuff-
next week.
It's weird because it's Friday. Maybe we should delay the podcast till after.
Why don't we just do it Wednesday?
We'll
I
we'll
don't
figure
know.
that out later. So you're saying you
Um,
don't want to talk about Nintendo Direct, even though okay.
No, I mean there was some stuff. I think the big thing is that they showed Metroid Prime again, which it's exciting because Metroid Prime is back and it looks Metroid Prime as hell. They're still not like showing the sauce. Like there's no like secret sauce, at least not yet. They showed like psychic abilities, which was kind of a big nothing burger, honestly.
new suit.
New suit looks
it
cool,
was
but
like-
I
it
mean,
was
there's
like
always a new
cool,
suit.
but, like,
Samus
okay.
always
Yeah.
is cool. It looks like Metroid Prime. It looks nice. Like it looks like I want to be in that world. I want to explore that world. I love Metroid Prime. I love Metroid. The vibes were there, sure, but like, it's still not like we live in a
Crispy-
post like Breath of the
Crispy had a great point.
Wild, Mario Odyssey, like these were big franchises that were like taking big leaps to like do new crazy shit. This just seems like even Metroid Prime 2 when that came out, they're like, yo, this shit is fucking different. There's a light world and a dark world, and if you're in the dark world, you're going to constantly be taking damage and you better like stay in these like bubbles of light or you're gonna fucking die until you get like the light suit and you're jumping between world and world, and it was like linked to the past, like dark world shit but on crack. I mean, and that was just the second Metroid Prime game, you know? And the 3 was doing all the shit with like this different the different areas and your ship, and you can like it was kind of like you know, it had weird like Wii stuff because that was like the first Wii proper game and shit. And like this one's just like, hey, look, doesn't this remind you of Metroid Prime? Like, there's no sauce yet.
But Crispy had a
outside of the
good
fact-
point during trailer talk, which is obviously that like games like Tears of the Kingdom, for instance, came out, and we didn't even know about half of like the huge like game earth-shattering, game-changing
Yeah.
shit in that game until like a couple weeks prior
But
to
this
its launch.
is the second time they've shown it, and like
I mean, they could be holding a lot back. They could be holding a lot back for
but like
the direct next
it
week.
still looks like Metroid Prime. Like, and they did show like, oh, by the way, psychic abilities, and it's like, okay, here's a new thing. Show us how psychic abilities are going to be crazy, and let me tell you, they were not crazy.
You know what? I
It was
wouldn't be
like,
surprised.
Open a door.
We've talked about how they might be showing this again next week's Nintendo Switch
Yeah.
Direct, right? The Switch 2 Direct. But like they might be saving some of that stuff because like some of the more interesting like features of the game might be like kind of unique to the Switch 2 or make it, you know what I mean?
I don't know about that. Like maybe it could be like shit that performance wise would look better on a Switch 2. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't
I
even know if
guess-
they're going to spend too much time on Metroid Prime next week. You know,
Personally,
They
I
might-
wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't because
You-
no, I mean I love Metroid, but I'm just saying we've seen a bunch of it, and I know I'm gonna play it. I think like you said, the vibes are there. What we said
But
during trailer, like even if
people are
this is like
disappointed.
even if this is the safest Metroid Prime game, it's still more Metroid Prime, and we'll all happily eat it up because we like Metroid
Sure.
Prime a lot. But like,
we still
it's
want
a
to be
new hardware
wowed.
launch next
We want to be
week,
wowed,
and
you know. And
It's new
in a
hardware
day
launch
where
next
we
week,
can't
and I
really
wanna
be
be
wowed by the
surprised.
visuals because Nintendo has such underpowered hardware, you know, it's
Right,
just
but all I'm saying is next week would be really great if all of a sudden they're like, hey, by the way, new 3D Mario or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Crazy.
new
Crazy.
a new Fire Emblem game
Yeah, right.
maybe a new Donkey Kong.
coming out this year.
Maybe a new Ace
Uh,
Combat game. Am I right?
Dude,
Oh
you know
man,
what?
Mir.
Speaking of
Crazy.
Fantasy Critic, is there? I mean, there's other cool stuff in the direct. I say watch trailer talk. Honestly, I'm kind of excited about a new Rhythm Heaven game, and that new Tomodachi game is
Tomodachi
pretty
game?
hyped for me.
What's the full name of that game with Goldman in the title? That.
I don't know. We've known that. We've seen
But
trailers. for that before.
it looks really
Secret
fucking
Life of
good.
Goldman or some shit.
Secret Life
Um,
of Goldman.
looks pretty
And
cool.
Spellbrook.
Witchbrook, actually.
Witchbrook, yeah,
stop
sorry.
it.
God, you
Hogwarts.
basic bitch.
Speaking of Fantasy Critic, fuck.
Did anything happen
Speaking-
in Fantasy Critic this week?
Well, to an outside observer, not really. It was some games got bid on and Crispy won the bids. But there's more to that fucking story. And maybe he would have gotten away with it if it was just Karen. But the fact that this motherfucker bid on Starvaders, let me explain Starvaders to you. I'm in another league, right? This is the Fantasy Critic Discord Super League. This motherfucker. And like, it's a public league, right? And like in my division, there's 12 players and we each draft like 7 games and we pick up 7 more. It's a lot of games, right? I think draft night was 72 games were drafted. Anyways, all this to say, Starvaders and Can were games I picked up in my draft, right? These were games that I drafted on draft night in January in my Fantasy Critics Super League. Starvaders, that is my game. Of all the divisions, I was the
Not
first
anymore,
one.
bitch.
No, listen, let me explain. Starvaders is a game because we were all kind of doing like drafting at the same time. I was the first motherfucker in all these divisions to draft Starvaders. I went into their Discord to reach out to say, hey, can you promise me this game is not launching early access and is launching 1.0? Because the scary part of a game like this is that it could look really good and be good, but like if you can't confirm that it's not launching an early access for, it's like
It's a
Fantasy
risk.
Critic poison because it fucks you, right? that happened, right? Like Die in the Dungeon was a game with the frog and the dice that people were excited about, and the developer was being really quiet about, yo, is this shit coming out in 1.0? And they were tiptoeing around the answer until finally I got it out of them saying, no, it's gonna launch in early access. And like all the people who've been on, like, were like, fucking no, you fucked us. Anyways, I got them to like confirm that it is coming out this year. It is launching 1.0. And by the way, it's a game that like Local Thunk, that he's the one who he gave like the seal of approval, and he's the creator of Balatro. He like last year he played the demo like a whole shit ton. And he was like, yo, this one has the sauce. And like Northern Lion played, and he was like, yo, this one has the sauce. Like people like this genre is pretty common these days. It's a
But now
popular genre.
Crispy, a
But like some of them,
this has the sauce.
some of them are like just okay, right? But like the ones who like the people are like, no, this has the sauce, like an Into the Breach or something. Like I'm saying, like people are kind of like giving this one the nod, but it was very under the radar. Same with Karen, which by the way, I haven't talked much about Karen. I have played the demo.
It just sounds like you're saying Karen.
Karen. It's the climbing game. If you look, so there's some secret tech, and I'm gonna give you some Fantasy Critic tips. They let
I don't want your
Steam
pity.
started letting people post demos as like games. Essentially, they started letting people review demos, right? Which means you can get a lot of feedback before a game is even out by just looking at demo reviews for a game. And look it up. Look up the Steam reviews for Karen. It has a fuck ton of reviews. This is a demo.
Yeah, I think it's like
and they're
overwhelmingly positive.
99% overwhelmingly
yeah.
positive. If you go into the forums, people are losing their minds. They're like, all I do is play this demo. I want this shit now. I don't care. Give it to me now. This one is going to be a bona fide hit. All this to say, I had this on my Fantasy Critic as a draft. These games I drafted in January, right?
Good for your other league.
I've been waiting, right? Because I'm like, these are small games. Mainly he's not going to notice. Hell, they don't even check on Thursdays, right? And I'm like, I'll just wait, right? But the thing is, I've been filling up my roster, spending a lot of money ever since I committed to super dropping, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the counter pick, right? I was like, well, I might as well spend some money because I'm not going to like save it all for a big pickup. So I've been picking up little games here and there, and they've been doing well, right? But like, these are my babies that I had in my pocket, and this motherfucker comes in, puts two $17 bids. Mind you, this is public bidding. He introduced them, and I knew it. As soon as I saw Star Vaders, some shady shit was going on, and I make a comment immediately.
This is the game, bro.
I'm sorry.
As soon as the public bids go up, you can see me. There's a comment in Discord of like, I know some shenanigans are happening, right? Because Star Vaders, come on. And he wins them both. I bid $17 on Karen because that's when I really believe it. I think that one's easy 85 plus. I played that demo. It's got the sauce, man. He bid $17. He won the tiebreaker because I have higher projected points because so many of my games are out already. So I lost it. How did he get in my head and know that I was going to bid? He did $17 on both games. Saying he won them both. That
we'll never
motherfucker.
know.
He's playing dirty. And maybe you don't believe in these games, whatever. I don't care. Or like they're minor games.
Why
but like,
would you say that?
Shut the fuck up, Nick.
Brad, I just think the game should reward research is all,
It's true. No, it's true. I wish, honestly, the rest of these players had your kind of hustle, Crispy, honestly. but the truth is, like, look at his list. He's got, if GTA doesn't come out, he did counterpick GTA. That's going to fuck him. He is looking good. He is looking good. And this is coming from me, who's, let me be honest, I'm in a really good place with my roster, but like his is scary, especially with these last two pickups.
Kingdom Come
Motherfucker,
Deliverance.
that's devious. It's devious shit. Because like
Hey, but when it comes
there's
to
like
Fantasy Critic, that's the sauce.
it is the sauce. I'm excited.
Like for the people listening to this
I like
show,
a little bit of spice.
That's the
I like a
sauce.
little bit of
That's
spice,
the
and this shit
spice,
was
yeah.
spicy. Because I mean, the truth is, whatever. I think Karen is something special, and I think Starvaders, like that's a genre that just scores well, especially when the games are good. Because when they get it, there's not many flaws. Like you can't really like shit talk a game, and they get it, dude. It's cool. It's
They
cool.
fucking get it. All right.
Mm.
Well,
Devious. Also, Ed picked up First Berserker, which I would have not recommended, but whatever. It's an 80, which is nice. You know, like that's one. But see that's one that I kind of maybe expected to be around an 80 or like a high 70s. But there was always a risk that it could have been a lot worse, right? Because it's this unknown developer making a fucking game based on an anime. You never know, right? Like I'm trying to avoid the games that have significant risk, but whatever. An 80, you know, he made it. Whatever. I had that on my GameFly queue, and they accidentally sent it to me, and I don't even want to play it. But now so I'm just gonna immediately send it back. And unless y'all want to hear my impressions of First Berserker Kazan.
Kazan.
I don't know.
I mean, that's what we do here. I mean, I would.
No, I
happily
know.
listen
It's
to
just
your
that one in
impression.
particular. I don't know why that one was in my queue because that's not really my flavor. It's just bosses, you know.
You were drunk one day and just added that to
I
your
don't know.
queue.
I don't know. I thought it could
May
be,
surprise you. Who knows?
Maybe it'll be your game of the year.
but I mean, I got some games.
All right. Let's wrap this show up with the 4-player minute, shall we?
Sure.
Our final thoughts for the week. Brad, care to start us off?
Sure.
I mean, I feel like your Fantasy Critic rant here could have very easily been.
Nah,
your
but I
final
got
thought
another
for the
one.
week.
This one's
Okay.
funny. I just find it kind of fascinating. There's a streamer I watch sometimes. He's an acquired taste, but I find him funny. His name is Eris. Anyways, he is a weirdly like I need to describe this man before I set this up because I find this kind of fascinating. He plays a lot of like Souls games and maybe like he'll play Dark Souls over and over again, like old school Resident Evil over and over again. He plays the same shit over and over again, but he's a very successful streamer and he's always trying a new game, but he flushes stuff super quick, right? Yeah, he used to be a pro Tekken player / commentator, but like he doesn't play Tekken anymore because he hates the fans so much. And when he plays, they show up in his stream and he hates them so much. So he just doesn't play Tekken anymore, even though he used to be a world-class player. It's just,
I
you know,
respect that.
because he's a successful streamer now. He just doesn't have to play Tekken because he's tired of seeing Tekken fans. So he just plays like, I'm going to play Resident Evil 2 again. I'm going to play Dark Souls again, right? But he'll play these new games. And like, he will play for like a fucking hour and be like, man, fuck this shit. And go back to playing like Fallout New Vegas again, right? Like this is what he does. He just plays the same shit, but he's like super hard to please, notorious. It's funny, but like he never like reads. Like this is how I was when I streamed, right? I was like, I'm not gonna read all this bullshit. Chat can tell me what the fuck that said, right? He does it and he means it, right? And he'll just be staring at like a screen of like a tutorial, like just for like 5 minutes, and he'll just be like, huh? And he'll just skip it and move on. All this to say, like, he's super hard to please. It's super hard for him to get into anything new. And he just clowns on shit. And it's funny, right? Like games that people are like, no, play it, please. You'll love it so much. And he'll be like, no, dog. It's just not for him, right? All this to say, like, he also is someone, he almost like, his vibe is that he plays video games, but it almost seems like he doesn't even like video games outside of like the handful that he plays, right? He doesn't know about a lot of games. Like he doesn't know like the history, the baggage, like all this to say is he played Morrowind. And this was a game that he doesn't know like the history and the knowledge of. He doesn't know that some weird fans prefer Morrowind. He just played Morrowind, which I thought was weird in the first place. It's a game where you do a lot of reading. There's not a lot of voice acting. And it's like an old, prickly game with like bad combat. But if you listen to a Morrowind fan, of which I am one deeply, we have said certain things about this game for many, many years about like, it had the sauce. It had the sauce that Bethesda lost, that RPGs lost. It is still the GOAT. So to see it, he fell
And winged
head
boots.
over heels in love with this game. And I say, it's such a strange thing, right? And to watch him play it, knowing nothing about it, not knowing the baggage or the history or the things that like I love about it that aren't in Oblivion, he doesn't know, he doesn't care. Like literally, seriously, does not care, does not know. But to see him like, or like to see someone like that organically experience this for the first time and like say all the things that are like true, like
He's not just following the narrative. Like,
exactly. He's organically discovering this game 2 decades later, 2.5 decades later, and like, whoa, this is actually kind of incredible. This dude like is incredibly hard to please, and like people in chat are telling him like, yo, go into that guard tower, go upstairs on the top of that shelf. You have to jump on something to see it. There's some fucking sword there, and that sword is sick as fuck. And he does that, and he's like, you're telling me this amazing sword is just in there? And y'all know when you're telling me, and I'm just going to go get it, and I'm going to have the super powerful sword. It's like, and you know what? Modern games don't really do that anymore. But to see it through his eyes, it was so like beautiful. It is, and he kept it blew him away. It blew me away to see someone experience this so organically in like a raw. It's like watching your child discover why Mario is great, having no idea what Mario is, right? It was beautiful. Again, I say this guy is notorious.
He teared up.
He's saying like, I can't believe that the quest there's no waypoint. The quest instructions just say follow this road and then head northeast, and there's a bend in the river, and then keep following that, and that's how you. This is what the quest instructions were like in Morrowind, and he's like blown away by this shit. Again, no knowledge, no baggage, no history, no skin in the game, and he's like fell head over heels for this game. Truly remarkable as a viewer. And you don't really, I don't watch a lot of streams or streamers, but like you don't see that often. Somebody would go in with nothing and see it something so many years later for like the truth that it is. So much so that he's, well, he always says game developers are slackers, but in a funny way. I don't know. It's just, I've been thinking a lot about it. I want to play some Morrowind, but like I want his experience with Morrowind again, which I'll never have. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I watched him discover the boots of blinding speed, which one of the most amazing video game items of all time. And the way they told him how to do it was like, oh, you can make a potion to like, so you could see, like the potion is so potent that it's only going to last for a second. But if you can get the boots on in time after you the length of this 1 second potion, which you have, the potion is so potent and it only lasts for 1 second. The chance of you even be able to craft that potion or craft the spell or cast the spell is so low. But if you just keep trying over and over and over and over and over again, you'll eventually be able to cast that spell, throw the boots on, and now you can see with the boots of blinding speed. And as long as you never take them off, you can run at like 500 times speed or 500% speed forever. And seeing him discover that was just fucking amazing because it's true. It's literally one of the coolest items in a game ever. Anyways, I've talked too long. Morrowind is cool.
That was certainly more than a minute, but that's okay.
Yeah. Morrowind is cool.
It was a cool
but
moment.
Yeah, it was a very innocent, beautiful thing.
It was a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Crispy.
Well,
what's your final thought?
Final thought, two things. The first thing, I was thinking about it when we were talking about the legacy of Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft in general. And I thought it was really funny that the official Assassin's Creed account was just like rapid fire dunking on Mark Kern so fucking hard, like ratioing him out the asshole. And it's Assassin's Creed, like one of the most universally just kind of like corporate franchises in the space, you know? Nobody wants to be on Assassin's Creed's side. Nobody wants to be on Ubisoft's side, but they really don't want to be on Mark Kern's side. Like, that is so fucking funny that the whole world was just like, hey, good job, man, to Assassin's Creed. I love
Sick
that.
burns, dude.
I
I
love
think
that.
that's why some of the Steam reviews are higher
Yeah.
than expected.
People are just like, yeah, finally fucking taking it to those goddamn nerds. Like, fucking love it. Let's see what else. Star Trek. I've been going through season 5. I've been slowing
I forget
down a
every
little bit.
week. I forget.
I've been
every
slowing
week.
down a little bit because I watched like 200 episodes of One Piece in the last month. So it's kind of like,
shit!
that's kind of like, yeah, oh yeah, I'm in Thriller Bark in One Piece right now. But it's kind of ate into my Star Trek time a little bit, but I'm still in season 5. I'm actually in Chain of Command right now. That's the episode where Captain Jellicoe takes over the Enterprise while Picard and Crusher and Worf go on a secret mission, and then they fail. And then Picard gets captured by the Cardassians and they torture him. You know, the famous, like, there are four lights, like, sequence. Yeah, that's from the second part of Chain of Command with Captain Jellicoe. A classic episode. It's really great. I just got through a couple really fun ones, like Fistful of Datas. The one where Data's like programming gets like stuck in the holodeck, and then he thinks he's like a cowboy, and he's like, I reckon, like, you know, and it's really funny. And another Q episode is pretty good. Another episode where like an ambassador comes to the Enterprise and then like gets into a relationship with Deanna Troi, and then like it's weird because he's a weird alien that does weird things. Like, I am so surprised that there are so many episodes like that.
There's so many episodes where they really do terrible things to Troy.
Tell us about One Piece episodes.
But One Piece, dude, let me tell you something.
What arc are you in?
I'm in Thriller Bark. I hit Water 7. So like I was in, so after Skypiea kind of like slogged me down a little bit. It was fun, but it was really long, and I was like, I don't know. And then like when it was done, I was like, okay, finally we can kind of like move on, right? The Foxy Pirates, like the Davy Back fight arc, was really fun. I actually really like that. And then we got into Water 7, into Ennie's Lobby, into CP9, and those 3 arcs back to back are like incredible. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if that's like the peak of the whole series. That was so fucking sick. So many great things. Frankie gets introduced, and Frankie is my new favorite character. I love Frankie so much. I've just been fucking, God, they got a new ship and everything. The new ship that they have, the Thousand Sunny, is so fucking cool. Like, I want to live on it. Yeah, One Piece after like 300 episodes finally got like really good. So.
Yeah,
it's
important
like
question.
The Marineford arc.
That's coming up, so I don't know, I guess.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not a question, this is a statement. I think Nick would be sooner to watch an episode of One Piece than he would Star Trek.
I mean, maybe.
I think you're wrong.
Maybe.
I don't think you're watching Star Trek.
I don't think I'm watching One Piece.
I don't think you're watching Star Trek.
I don't know what you want me to tell you, bro. I feel like if you put the two in front of me, I would pick Star Trek any day of the week.
It would be Star
real
Trek.
people and not goofy cartoons.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking. You don't get to watch
that nerd anime shit. I'm just kidding.
No. Yeah, this motherfucker has no idea what Star Trek is like. He's thinking of these fucking Chris Pine Star Trek movies.
That's obviously not what I'm thinking of.
Pretty wild.
I mean, I do like those movies, but I know that's not typical Star Trek.
I do feel like they both sit outside of Nick's comfort zone.
That is very true. That is very true.
I don't think Nick is like an unmovable homunculus, though. I think he can open his mind. I think he has a little bit of imagination. I think if he could just connect to something primal about both of them, like there's some kind of thing.
If we
this guy's
down
watched
with
Buffy the Vampire
Wrath of
Slayer
Khan,
1,000 times, you know,
if we sit him down with the Wrath of Khan or the Undiscovered Country, one of those, like I feel like he would be like, okay, maybe I see something about Star Trek.
I mean, I think those are good movies. I love those movies. I don't, but they're not even like the Star Trek that I like, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're not like the Berman, like the like Ronald D. Moore, like I think there's something kind of quintessentially 90s dramatic television that Nick might really like in like a late TNG DS9 era Star Trek.
That I can get
think you
behind.
can
I think
find
he would love the shit out of the fucking Arlong Park arc in One Piece.
yeah, I mean like well
I still think Nick
my
is.
touchstone
I still think we can get Nick into anime, honestly. But
I think
whatever,
we could
that's
too.
a
I mean,
big topic.
shonen
There's-
anime is
yeah.
so like
Likeable.
digestible though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so like easy.
He
like
has liked
like
anime. He has.
if
He
you
liked
if you've
Cyberpunk Edge
ever
Runners.
been a fan, if you've ever been a fan of like Dragon Ball Z, like you know what's going on. Like you know what's
course.
up. You know?
You do know Nolan and I met and like bonded over our shared love of Dragon Ball Z. Like
Well,
that's one of
then-
the earliest
well, then-
memories we had of
Then One
our
Piece is
friendship.
gonna feel weirdly familiar to you, especially if you watch the American dub, because like it's all the same voice cast even. Like Vegeta plays Zoro and like fucking Krillin plays Usopp. Like it's all like the same people. But what's fucking sick about One Piece is that like the designs are out of control, crazy cool. And now the show is literally just about like, let's fucking kill the world government. Like, I love it. It's so fucking great, like how much chaos there is to it. It's not just like Goku being like, okay, I think I want to get stronger now, you know? Like there's pathos to it. There's like drama, there's emotions, there's tears. I have cried at the show, you know what I mean?
I feel like but there's also like this underlying fact that like even the most baseline like mainstream digestible anime that I feel like every anime lover should probably have seen is something I have tried to get into and just failed. Like Cowboy Bebop. I have seen like
What?
2 episodes of
That's-
Cowboy Bebop.
Bro,
That's-
it didn't even
I
start.
also think yeah, I mean I feel like that's
And
just
it's not
like
that I don't like it. It's not that I like hate it. It's just like
no, but it's an endurance issue. Like
I
the
know.
second something is like
I know.
not clicking, you're like, I just got to change this. And like so many things in this world, Nick, require you to just like have a little bit more follow through to really like recontextualize that and like get it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, I know.
I know, you know, I'm not trying to lecture you, but like I'm not trying to change you in any way. I love you, Nick. I love you as you are. You don't need to change for me. I just think maybe there's some rocks you haven't looked under yet that might have some juicy
I'm sure there
morsels
are.
you enjoy.
I'm sure there are. Of that I have no doubt.
You watched the Castlevania show, right?
No,
No.
we didn't. No, we didn't. What are
Oh,
you talking about?
bro.
But that's not what. That's not gonna get someone into anime.
The only anime I've watched in the past probably decade that and I don't think I watched anything before
You watched
or
that
after.
Cyberpunk one.
I watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Dude,
And that was
Cyberpunk
because it
Edge
was
Runners.
like
I bet
was
he would like
so-
Arcane.
but that was also because it was like an
Incredible.
extension of the game I was playing at the time and I was
Nah.
like deeply invested in
but you liked
Cyberpunk.
it
think?
on its own.
Who's like a
I did,
hero?
but Huh?
Who's like a hero that you like? Who's like a heroic character that you like?
just
Yeah,
in
good
general.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
Dex.
are they a person are they a person
An
that you would
anti-hero.
say like has like kind of like a silly side to them? Like there's something just kind of inherently silly about it, and like does that character emphasize or de-emphasize that? You know, like
I mean, does
like, I
Buffy
think,
count?
for
Because
instance,
I feel like
Buffy
that's
does count.
that absolutely I'd say Buffy. Top
Buffy
of my
does
list.
count. And if you like the kind of like when Buffy's just being like weird and goofy and zany, like that's the
I
kind
do.
of energy that I'm talking about when I say I love something and it's stupid and goofy. You know what I mean? Like I think
that.
Superman is an incredible character. I don't like when people try to do Superman seriously because it's not. It just doesn't work, you know? Like I don't think it works. Like something that is more at peace with how frivolous it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think maybe that might be a barrier to entry.
Maybe the challenge here for me, and I don't know, since we're recording this so late this week, I can't necessarily commit to doing this before we meet again. But the challenge should be like I should you should recommend one episode of Star Trek, or one place for me to start in Star Trek, and then I can watch an episode of One Piece and watch an episode
You know
of
what's
Star Trek
awesome?
and see
You know
what
what's-
It
happens.
would be One Piece. I'm
You know what's
telling you.
particularly great about Star Trek though is because like most of it, like except for the new stuff, all of it is so episodic that like it really is super easy to just be like, watch this episode and see if it vibes with you, and then you
Yeah.
can go and find out how they got there. You know, like it's great for that. I have so many. Can I make Nick fall in love with Mr. Data? Can I make Nick love Mr. Data? I think I can. I think it's in. I think it's in
There's
his
a
heart to love an
fine
android.
line
think
with
so.
Data. I feel like if you're gonna introduce him to Data, you can't do a Data centric episode. He has to be just
but like
he has to be the B or C plot.
I feel like I just need to start watching TNG. Like start with
Yes,
episode 1 of TNG and
I
just
mean,
go from there and see what
just
happens.
as a broad
Oh,
recommendation, I would always say TNG is like the heart and soul of Star Trek. I love so many other Star Trek things, but TNG, like if you want to understand why a person like me likes Star Trek, you have to start, or you have to understand TNG. You know?
Okay.
That's
I
it.
feel like
All
if
right.
you're gonna do TNG, I
Measure
don't
of a
know-
Man. Yeah, like that is a perfect rebuttal to what Chris just said, which I mean, Chris, I get what you're saying, but like some data-centric episodes are incredible. Measure of a Man is a very early episode.
Yes.
It's the one where they like hold a trial about whether or not Data has rights.
Yeah, yes.
It's a courtroom drama and it's incredible. Like no one fires a phaser, there's no aliens.
it's just
just like
people
Data.
talking.
Yeah.
It's a good episode.
God,
I
when
do not-
Picard is like, when Picard starts like turning around, he's like, "Do you know? Do you?" And he's like pointing at everybody in the room. Like every time, I'm like, "Oh, he's cooking. He's cooking." Like,
Yeah.
oh,
But
You're
I
right.
feel like that's even more of a Picard
it
centric
still ain't
episode
Nick.
than actually
It's
Data.
not Nick.
Data
Okay.
is like the
this
thing
guy
that drives
watched
the episode
Bones,
forward.
man. Come on.
I agree with you. I would just be a little worried about things like the Data centric like obscure quirky episodes that just
Oh, yeah.
really
I mean,
shouldn't be
yeah.
like the introduction here.
Look, I can find 20 Star Trek Next Generation episodes that I think Nick would like and would be like perfect introductions.
But I'm
I can
also
do it.
very like I'm also very like when it comes to this kind of shit, I'm like very anal. Like I have to watch like from the beginning.
Television didn't used to work
I know.
that way, Nick.
What are you talking like what are you talking
No,
about? Like,
no, Nick, you're right. I'm just saying, like, you'll do yourself a favor if you just experience it the way we did in the 90s, where, like, one day you just caught an episode and we're like, that's great. And then, like, you just kept watching and eventually you saw them all, you know?
Okay.
Nick, here's what I'll say is that there is one plot line from the
Okay,
beginning
okay.
of Star
Oh god, I've got to
beginning of
I've got to pump the
TNG
brakes here.
that really kind of plays out something eventually. Other than that, like the Borg is the only thing that's like a through line that's from the first
Okay.
2 seasons that is
Oh,
really
yeah, and I mean,
important.
And then they do First Contact and the Borg are completely different, and then they become more important in
Yes.
Voyager. If you're like interested in the Borg, I would just say go watch Star Trek First Contact.
Just watch
Like,
Voyager.
I really like that movie. But yeah,
We
it's yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. We're done talking about Star Trek. Nick, go ahead.
This is the longest 4-player minute
I know.
ever in the history of man, but it's been fun. Okay. Chris Davis.
Crispy,
I challenge you
am-
to keep it short this week.
I am sorry to report, Crispy, that I did order the complete set of Lower Decks, and Amazon fucked me and has delayed it. So I gotta wait for that.
Oh, like the whole DVD collection?
yeah, the whole
Dude,
collection.
Lower Decks is so good. I love Lower
I
Decks.
really
I'm
want to
so
see it.
fucking
I've
mad.
seen clips. It looks great.
That show
Um,
shouldn't exist, and it's incredible.
Oh, that's right. You
Yeah.
only watch stuff after you buy it, right?
I mean, very often, yeah. So
Weird.
I guess the two things to just really quickly mention. I played through the demo for Half-Life 2 RTX, which is the new RTX rebuild of Half-Life 2 that's coming
Demo.
slowly but surely. It's 2/3 of Ravenholm and half a Nova Prospect for the demo, so it's about an hour of content. And it's still Half-Life 2. It's all the same enemy AI and sound effects and everything. It's just very, very fucking pretty. And it is so nice to go back to a game that came out 21 years ago and see this very, very nice fresh coat of paint on it. You know, especially after having played Black Mesa a few years ago and seeing the contrast,
Which was an
between-
amazing
which was fucking fantastic.
introduction to Half-Life 1.
Yeah, it's almost Brad as if you didn't need to play the original Half-Life 1. I know. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I finished Stalker 2.
Nice.
Y'all fucking hate that game. What is wrong with you?
What are you talking about?
Stalker 2 is a time investment that can get long in
Y'all
the
just
tooth.
now getting. Did you finish it, Nick?
No, dude, but I've put like 70 hours, dude. I hate you, Brad. I just
Continue. I'm just surprised. I'm just surprised it took you that long, especially Chris Davis, who finishes games in like a weekend. That's all I'm
mean,
saying.
it's a game that gets long in the tooth, and the story isn't nearly as engaging as it needs to be for me to kind of power through it. And I don't like how I ended up with that game.
So you don't like the. I mean, so I'm not even wrong.
I don't like the last 2 hours of that game because it makes you do
Out of,
things
like,
and
70 or
railroad
80.
you into a certain path that I just don't agree with. I don't.
Well, it
think
sounds
should
like
have
he was
been
having issues long before the last 2 hours. From
No,
his
no,
conversations
it's
on the
literally
podcast.
how the last 2 hours are structured to give you an ending. Like once you get it to past a certain point, you're locked in. You have no decision making authority after a certain point. You just experience it and the game ends.
So overall, how do you feel about the game?
I like it overall. I think there still needs to be a lot of bug fixes and balances made to the A-Life system. And I loved the thrill of discovery every time I discovered like a super anomaly or a legendary artifact or just like these fresh new areas that have these quest lines that pop up organically that are just so fucking cool to explore and do. It just has kind of a badly told story, in my opinion.
which is not unlike a lot of the other Stalker games. So I don't know.
Not
It seems like
inherently,
it's pretty
no.
par for the course.
I mean, my problem is that I put 90 hours into this game. I could not tell you who half the cast is. I could not tell you half of their character motivations of what they're actually doing. And their involvement
disagree
in the
with you there.
story just kind of comes out of nowhere, just ends. And it doesn't feel
I mean,
right.
I mean, like I'm enjoying the hell out of Stalker 2, but I would be lying if I said my enjoyment is stemming from like the driving force of the narrative. Like I just
Which is fine.
is-
That's a lot of games.
it's the experience. It's the
Yes.
it's the getting lost in the experience and role playing in that environment is pretty great.
And
So,
it's also possible that my feelings might be fixed when the expansion comes out, because they've already said there's an expansion coming that's going to add a lot of content. And I have to assume that they're going to bring a lot of quality of life fixes and things like that. Hell, they just released a new patch to bring it up to 1.3, which I hear is a pretty good improvement too. And there is one big ass thing that I won't mention that they glaringly leave out of the game that they should have included, but I have to assume that's the point of the expansion. So, anyway, overall,
You turn into
good
a
game.
beast. I'm the
I-
beast. You can't handle the beast. It's fucking James McAvoy. What an ass clown.
I don't know. Good game overall. I have issues with the story. I encourage you to finish, Nick.
I plan to, which brings me to my 4-player minute, which is
That
I'm
you
playing.
love Stalker 2.
Oh my god,
The Beast.
Brad, you're the
What was?
fucking
I'm thinking of
worst.
Dying Light 2, the ending. Sorry, go
Dying Light 2,
continue.
the Beast.
The Beast. Yeah.
I
Gonna be good.
look, God damn it, Brad.
I want the
I don't know
James
what- I-
McAvoy mod for.
I don't know
Dying
what
Light
you
the
want
Beast.
from. I don't know what you want from me, Brad.
Chuckle, I guess. I don't know.
Just a little
But
validation.
I am in a weird place right now, which is why I have been very kind of disconnected from Fantasy Critic. It's why haven't like just the amount of time I have spent playing video games has been on the decline because of probably my mental health lately, and I am kind of starting to dig myself out of that and get back into sinking time into games again. My problem is that like I am entrenched in so many games that are like easy 70, 80 hour games that I don't want to abandon. I don't want to finish, but I also don't want to be lumping more games on top of that. Like I would love to be playing Atomfall because it's on Game Pass and it's been a game I've been kind of having my eye on for a while and I hear good things about it. But like I haven't finished Stalker 2. I'm in love with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, but I probably still could sink another 50 hours into that game.
You need something
and-
short and sweet, something juicy.
I do need something short and sweet, but playing something short and sweet still takes away time that I could be spending on other games. I'm still playing and enjoying Like a Dragon, but I didn't get to stream that this week.
I forgot.
I didn't. I've been sick this week, so I didn't actually play much of anything, and I wanted to stream on Monday, but I didn't. But I still want to get back and do that again, Crispy. So Like a Dragon's still there. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a game I can already feel like the hooks in me, and I'm really enjoying it. And I know I've said this about a lot of Assassin's Creed games in the past, and I do think it means more here. I feel like maybe because there's so much. I didn't even talk about combat this week when we were talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows, but like combat feels really fluid and responsive and fun in this game. Maybe more so than it ever has. And that's just one of many things that I feel like is a huge improvement. So like everybody seems to be pleasantly surprised by it, and I'm already an Assassin's Creed fan, and I can feel the hooks in me. I didn't talk about the grappling hook, man. This fucking grappling hook. There's a lot of shit in that game.
Like Tenchu.
Yeah, kind of. And I can feel it, man. I'm gonna be playing that game too. I'm bouncing around a lot. Robin and I haven't finished playing Split Fiction. We're gonna play some of that this
How
weekend.
far are y'all in that?
I haven't played it in about a week because again, I was sick. So we're
Just
gonna play
say
it.
Just say
We're
it.
gonna play it tomorrow. No, dude, Split Fiction's great. We're gonna play it tomorrow.
It
I don't
is
know if
great.
we're gonna finish
It is
this
great.
weekend.
But it is a little frivolous.
I have started a lot and not finished a lot, and I haven't even touched Monster Hunter Wilds. Not because I don't want to, but because there's just too many fucking games that I'm seriously in love with already this year that I want to keep playing, that I don't want to put down.
Yeah,
And-
but here's the thing. It's all about framing, Nick. You got to stop thinking about it based on like years. You know, it's like, oh, I can't get through Baldur's Gate this year or whatever. You know,
Well,
just think of it as like I have all these things that seem great that I want to play, and I'm
right,
gonna
and I am
spend the next, so
but
many
I'm
hours
playing-
of my life experiencing all those delicious flavors.
I am
Just not
playing the things that I
sushi,
want to be
you know?
playing in the moment. I genuinely want to be playing more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I genuinely want to keep going with Shadows. I genuinely want to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds, but all three of those things can't be happening simultaneously, really. So,
I get it. You're taking
I'm-
bites of all
I'm-
these cheeseburgers. You can't just start eating ramen.
correct.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm playing the things that I want to be playing. Just unfortunately means some things that I really want to be playing as well are kind of falling to the wayside for now. I'm not saying I'm not going to play them, but
I get
man,
it.
it's
I
just
put
a lot.
down
It's a lot.
shit this year too. Same reason. I mean,
It's
I'm still
March,
gonna go
man.
back
It's
to
just
Kingdom Come, and
fucking March in this year. I'm
I've been
drowning.
playing some more Avowed.
And there's a lot of stuff too that is like you're right. I probably do need to find something that's kind of short and sweet that I can focus on and knock out just to give me that like hit of dopamine. Like I finished the fucking game.
A little
You
bit
know
of
what I
a
mean? Like I
palate
need
cleanser
that.
as
I need a palate cleanser. Yeah. So
Like
I
a
don't know what
short-
that. I don't know what that is yet.
Short little
but,
indie. Short little. You like to play a short little indie here and there.
I
Maybe
do like to play a
horror indie.
I do like a good
Papa
horror.
Shro,
indie.
That ain't it. Come on, Papa. Shro.
That ain't it. All right. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I can feel myself kind of I'm getting back on the horse, but slowly. And I promise you, I will eventually get back on the Fantasy Critic horse, and I'll be fucking bidding on everything.
Whatever, dude.
It's been interesting. Anyways, that's it, guys. That's the show. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for hanging out. I apologize again. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded a show. This is kind of a strange day for us to be doing this. We usually record these on Tuesday nights. Here it is, Friday. So we'll be back next Tuesday.
That one's all on me, honestly.
I mean, it's on
Because I was out of
last
town
night,
on
kinda.
Tuesday, and then my power, and then
Yeah.
you know.
But I mean, that's fine. We adapted, obviously. It turned out
okay.
fine. But next week, I think we might have a weird schedule next week too if we decide we want to wait and do the show after the Nintendo
Tuesday
Directs.
just seems too close, honestly.
Yeah. We will eventually get back on our usual Tuesday schedule, but
Yeah.
because of everything that's happening, it might be different for the next week or two. We'll see. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you're not a part of our Discord, we'd love to have you. It's at discord.gg/4player. We're hanging out there all the time, talking about games, movies, anime, TV, all that stuff. If you want to be a part of the community, jump in, join us there. That's the best place you can do it. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week for another episode. But in the meantime, be good to each other, play video games, and good night.